He just made a court
It's the
appearance,
Miss
and we're going to
Knockout
talk about
Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Miss Knockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat go shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's a Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show, hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with a Miss Knockout. Let's go.
Come on in, come on in. It's the Miss Knockout Show. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, 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 welcome to my live. Welcome to my live. Everybody come on in. All right. We are going to talk about a few things today. All right. But first we're going to talk about D4VD. All right. And I am going to give a backstory because I want, everybody don't know everything. All right. So I am going to give a backstory to let you know who D4D, aka Day. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Zoe Ann. That was cute. Thank you. Hey, K-Mac. Everybody get your notifications. All right. So we're going to talk about D4VD. All right. So let me pull up my notes. And because this is what Miss Knockout does. All right. Make sure you follow me if you're new. I give real world content, viral stories, breaking stories, cases, high profile cases. Thank you, Aileen. How you doing today? Breaking cases, you know what I'm saying? Updates, reactions. I'm getting ready to do a lot of reactions on my video. We do it and we keep people engaged over here. We keep it interesting. And we do that without talking about other content creators and calling SWAT on them and taking away their kids. So y'all need to start supporting real content. Okay? Stop complaining over there and support real content. Hello? All right? So who is D4D? All right, let me pull up my notes because everybody don't know everything. So we're gonna tell the people. If you who's familiar with the case already, put a yes or no in the comments. Who's familiar with the D4VD case? Put a yes or no in the comments. Who's familiar with the D4D case? All right. Well, let's get into it. All right. So D4VD, right, whose real name is David Burke, right, is a singer which I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know about this singer until he had this case allegedly with this girl, Celeste Rivas. Was everybody said yes? I don't know his music. Yeah, nobody knows. A lot of these people that get into these cases and pum and locked up and do all this stuff. Thank you, Wanda. We don't know about them until they do something horrific. Then all of a sudden they're a superstar rapper. Like where? But David did have a large fan base, right? But I didn't know about David either until this came about. But it's not to take away that he did have a big fan base, all right? And, he's a YN. Thank you, Baby Kim. So a lot of his fan base was really young. A lot of his fan base is really young, right? So he had his latest court appearance on the 12th, which is yesterday on Tuesday. Right? So here's a little bit of backstory. Thank you, Aileen. Thank you so much. And sidebar, did anybody watch Law and Order yet from Thursday? I got to sign up to Hulu just to watch it. Nobody told me nothing yet. So I might have been on Law and Order last Thursday because I spent 2 days on that production. But I didn't get to watch it yet, so I don't know if I'm on it or not. Might be on the cut room floor. I don't know. But somebody told me I could get Hulu for $4 for the year. I'm going to try to do that. Right? So I got to know D4VD. I call him DVD, David. When I watched a report about this young girl being found in this Tesla, and everything in Miss Knockout Live is all alleged. Okay? Which means that I don't know it to be true. We're reporting. No, it's not only on Hulu. It's on Peacock. It originally aired on NBC. It originally aired on network television. So if you have NBC.com, they might have other sites, Lizzie, that you know, those underground sites that you could watch it, but I didn't have time to investigate. Right? Oh, and we're going to also watch the Nature Boy documentary, but I want to wait to get my computer to watch. I'm getting my computer soon. So we'll be able to get in TikTok Studio, and we'll be able to get and on the gaming side, on this side. What's up, Janet Dunn? You see what happened over here with that swatting thing? I talked a little bit about it, but I don't want to talk about them and the other creators by name. What I was talking about is that, you know, the messy people are the only people that make money over here, and y'all fund that. So I feel like y'all just as bad as the guy who's swatting people and the person that's taking away people's money. Y'all are enablers. And we all guilty of watching the mess. But what I'm saying is, and don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, I'm not saying that they ain't supposed to be making money, but I'm saying that's the only people that makes it over here. I go in people's live that got real content. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. And they only got 2 people in there watching. Why? Girl singing her heart out like Whitney Houston got 2 people in there. So I'm not saying that, you know, you don't hate the player, hate the game. Make your money. But I'm saying that's the only thing y'all want to watch. And now you're complaining. On 2, 4 hours, 5 hours making beans off of his swatification. So anyway, let's get back to D4VD. This is what we're talking about now. So they found this girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She was 14 years old. Allegedly, David met her when she was 11 years old. Let that sink in. He met her when she was 11 years old. She didn't make it to her 15th birthday because she was found in the front trunkification of a Tesla, decomposed, dismembered. That means cut up, put into these cadaver bags, finger severed, and left there to rot, like he thought that this was just going to go away. Right? I say when I watch these cases all the time, boy, these criminals be dumb as hell. They be dumb. These be some dumb. You did all of this, and you thought this was going to go away. You thought you wasn't going to get caught, allegedly. I don't want to say he did it, because innocent until proven guilty. So I'm going to say allegedly. So the body starts stinking. He's had told, now the car is in the tow place. Whoever took the car, allegedly, dropped it off at the tow place and didn't look back, and left this young girl to rot in this Tesla, cut up in this bag. So they found her, because everybody's complaining about the smell. When the body decomposes, it's like a smell that, as it goes along, it becomes unbearable. It becomes unbearable to smell. Right? So they find her body, they go and they identify her, and they realize that it's this girl who first she was depicted as a runaway, and her parents to me are suspect too. I feel like they didn't go too hard to keep everything is on money and based on money in US. If you got money, you could do a lot of things in the US. You could do a lot of things. You got a lot of leeway. Money talks, BS walks. He allegedly probably offered them money and the kid is rolling around with a star, right? At first she was a runaway, right? Very suspect, right, Charlene? Very suspect. I agree, Charlene. How you doing, Charlene? Hey, very suspect. Another one that reminds me of the R. Kelly parents. They're very suspect too, and never got held accountable for the part they played with the kids going with the Pied Piper. All right, y'all played a part of that, right? And so, hold on, y'all. I gotta keep checking and making sure my thing doesn't come to them. And so, hold up, y'all. Oh, how come this ain't showing? So they find the body. They identified it to be this girl, right? And then stuff gets moving, but it's real slow. Went on for months. We all sitting here like, why they not arresting nobody? This dude looks suspect. All these little things started coming up. The neighbor next door, they taken so long with the investigation, but now we see not why. When we're gonna get to the part on why they took so long, right? And they didn't arrestify him at first. Now we see why. They were building a case. The neighbors, and this is probably going to be in the court case, the neighbor hired a private investigator, and he found a lot of clues and a lot of things he uncovered. He was going around on the blogs, TMZ talking, right? But they finally arrested this guy. And they got 40, stay with me, come on, 40 terabytes. Do you know what a terabyte is? Do you know what a terabyte is? A terabyte can hold so much footage. I got 2 terabytes to keep my external for external storage on my computer. This dude, they got 40 terabytes of evidence, right? Let me see if I can find one of my terabytes. Where is it at? I don't have it. Okay, my terabytes is back there hooked up to the computer. They got 40 terabytes of evidence. This is why they took so long. While we were complaining, like, why do you know? So they finally arrested him, and then they had all these clues, all this evidence that came out. This dude went and bought a burn cage to allegedly, almost like disintegrate the body. When you get a burn cage, that's meant to burn stuff up like cremate. Now, I don't know why he wound up not using the burn cage. I would figure that a burn cage would be difficult to use, right? When you're using it in the house. He probably wanted to use the burn cage in the house. And if he did it outside and the neighbors look over and see something burning, smelling like barbecue, but it's not, they're going to wonder why, what you cooking, what you burning. And then the neighbors are going to see that. And if it's a case like it is now, the neighbors are going to say, oh, we seen something burning in the burn cage. But if he would have burnt her in the burn cage, they would have never found her unless they figured it out. Right? So here we are with the case, and they're uncovering all this evidence. They got videos of him online saying different stuff. This guy, David, had no shame in his game. He was boldly doing and saying stuff online like he didn't give an F about people collecting the evidence that he visibly put out himself. Okay? What's up, C? I need you. What's up, everybody? Everybody keep tapifying over here. I keep sharifying, keep tapifying. What's up with y'all? right? If you're new, make sure you follow me. If you're new on the clock, make sure you follow me. So the dude was having concerts bringing whole coffins in. You got videos depicting unalivement and chopifying a woman's body up, mimicking what he did. Boldly. Psychopath activity, right? So now he's finally arrested. He's in court. He's not getting out. There's no bond, bail, or whatever. I think he would have been out if that was it. His label dropped him. I didn't think the label was going to drop him. That's a surprise. All right. That's ballsy. It is ballsy. I'm surprised that the label dropped him. The label's still going to be making money off of him, though, because they still own the rights to his CD. Right? The next day, this dude released his CD and his project, and he was acting like nothing happened. It was like business as usual. He was at parties. He was doing interviews. 0 F's was given that he potentially and allegedly might have unalived this young girl. Mind you, he met her when she was 11. She was unalive on her 14th birthday. Her 15th birthday was right there. It was right there. She almost made 15. The parents did make her come back home. I think the last time he sent her home. But the parents did make her come back home. They took away her phone. And then he had a student. He allegedly paid a student $1,000 to get Celeste a new store phone. Oh yeah, the Tesla yeah. And that's another good point. Thank you, Zoe. The Tesla does have stories to tell. Because I keep telling people, if you want to do dirt, don't get a Tesla. Tesla is a snitch. The Tesla has built-in cameras that you don't see and you can't find. In the trunk, in the dash, in the front, in the back. They probably pulled those cameras. They ain't going to reveal that until they get in court, though. If they retrieve those cameras, they got exactly who put that body in that trunk. They got him. They just ain't telling us yet because the court case ain't going. They probably got that footage, right? They got that footage. Am I freezing up on the Y, Charlene? I'm not freezing, huh? Every time I go and come back, it looks like I'm frozen. They got footage probably from the Tesla. They probably got footage. But they're probably holding that for when they get in court. Right? So, DVD David brought this girl another phone and paid a student $1,000 to give her the phone. But then he sent her back for whatever reason. Like this guy is still a star. He meets a lot of girls or whatever. And they also found, read between the line, a lot of video footage of questionable and maybe perhaps sexual activity of little people in his phone. And when I say little people, I don't mean the little people that's really adults, but they're little. I mean the real little people. I'm just saying it in a different way. Right? They also find a lot of that. I don't know how much terabytes is that, but 40 terabytes is a lot of terabytes. But keep in mind, he also does music. So when you do music, right? When you do music, you can have, a lot of terabytes. But I do music. I got about 1 terabyte. But, he's an artist on a major. He's probably doing music all the time. So my little terabyte, I'm just doing music once in a while. Videos or whatever. Right? So, Hold on, y'all. I just gotta watch. I'm expecting something to come today, and I gotta watch for it while I'm commentating to make sure that they don't put that sticker on my door. You know what I'm saying? So they build a case on dude. They got him. He's in the now. He's in the the jail. Now, if anybody knows anything about jail, right? If anybody knows anything about jail, one thing you do know is that they do not like it when you mess with the little people. They do not like that in jailification. Right? What's up, B? What's up? Everybody coming on in. We're talking about the D4VD case. We're giving updates here. Come on in. We can ready to go to the videotape, aka Nancy Grace. We love Nancy Grace over here. Right? Thank you so much, Beat It. Everybody get your orange heart and everybody blessify Miss Knockout so she won't be brokified. All right? And let's support real content. Okay, let's support real content. And somebody who's not tearing other people down to make money. So, people in jail don't like it when you mess with the little people. So everybody knows about this case. He's probably having a hard time in jail, right? What's up? Hey, my Addie. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the orange heart. Everybody get your orange heart. Okay, everybody, we need 100 roses. Okay, everybody tapify, shareify, put some hashtags in the comment and continue tapping over on the B side, right? So, this dude just had a court case and he was concerned about how he looked in the courtroom. You know, he wanted his glam squad to come and make him look decent. Sir, looking decent is the least of your worries right now. Looking polished. I need a haircut. Now, when Diddy had his case, you know, his team would write into the judge. They would approve an outfit and you have to write in a certain amount of time. And that's what David is doing. You know what I'm saying? But he's more slimier, allegedly, if he did this, than Diddy would ever be in life. This case is slimy. He did that girl dirty. Violated this young girl. She didn't have a chance. Thank you, Lizzie. She was in over her head. These young girls get up with these people and they get in over their head. Right? Thank you for the 45K on the clock. So, he went to court yesterday. And let me go to my notes before we go to Nancy Grace, because Ms. Knockout does do her homeworks too. And let's talk about it. So the latest court appearance was on May 12th, 2026, which was it yesterday? Yesterday. Right? And David, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke, appeared in Los Angeles court for a status hearing in the unalivement case of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And this was not a preliminary hearing, and it was not a trial. It was a scheduling and readiness hearing, right? Thank you, Star. Meaning that they're pushing the dates back. So the next court date was May 26th, okay? His team and his lawyers want to push it back so they can have a chance, to be fair, to go through all of the evidence. Imagine how long it takes to go through 40 terabytes of info. They're going to have the whole office, all the paralegals in the offices is going to have to sit in the conference room all day going through the footage that's on those terabytes, taking notes. They're going to need like an office of about maybe 50 people just going through the DVD files. I would have 40 people and I would give them each 1 terabyte, even if I have to hire some temps. Most of it's nonsense. It probably is, but they got to go through all of it because in between the nonsense, they might find some shiznick, Mayadi. They might find something in between the nonsense, right? So this hearing was to push back the May 26th hearing, to give them a chance to go through the evidence, to give them a chance to go through the case and build their case and their defense. So reporters were in the courtroom and reported that the hearing lasted about 15 minutes. The biggest thing that happened in the courtroom is that the judge pushed the preliminary hearing back. So it was expected to be held on March 26, 2026, but the Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Charlene Almeida moved it to June 29th, 2026. So they moved it down May, June. June will be here before you know it, people. Okay, June will be here for a moment. We're going to be outside. We're going to pick and choose where we go, because they got the Hunter virus going on. And I'm debating on whether I should talk about that, because the clock likes, giving people restrictions, talking about misinformation. But it's getting ready to get dangerous out there. Look it up. They let those people out from the ship, and they sent 3 of them back to New York, talking about they're going to quarantine them. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound familiar? That ship that had the people with the Hunter virus. But we'll talk about that later. Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track, y'all. All right? So, hold on, y'all. Hold up. I lost my way. So, they rescheduled the meeting to May 29th because it's going to take them some time to go through 40 terabytes of videos, probably music on there. Right? They also got his Discord. He had a Discord. All the conversations in the Discord they got. They're releasing those. So, Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Charlene Almeida moved it to June 29, 2026, because the prosecutors and the defense are dealing with large amounts of evidence. So it's not only the defense, David's team, that got to go through all that evidence. The prosecutors got to go through all that evidence. Right? Thank you so much, everybody. Keep tapifying, keep sharifying. If you're new over here, make sure you follow Miss Knockout. Come join the community. I'm on every day, serving up these hot topics and comments and cases and news and all of that. All right? So both sides got to go through all this footage of effery. Right? It's your girl, Nix, is in the building. What up, though? So both sides, right? So the judge also set another status hearing for the conference for June 17th. And why did she do that? Because the hearing on the 29th is the hearing getting going, right? But she scheduled June 17th to see where they're at it. See where we're at with it. Do we got to reschedule it again? What's up? Hey, I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm doing good. Took a little time off yesterday because I had got, booked for stuff, right? And I didn't put the post up, but my song just got picked up on 80 radio stations, internet stations around the world, all right? I'm going to put that post up and show you, all right? That's why I tell people, I stopped concentrating and bitching and complaining about, the people that I knew for years that have all these connections and know things, that sit there and watch me, with a song that I feel is decent, and not support a doggone thing. So you got to take matters in your own hand and roll your sleeve up and work so hard and get your own stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing. Also, when you don't see me online for a day, sometimes I got to get some work done with my music. And yesterday, not only was I booked on a project, I had worked on a project with Ben Stiller too. That should be coming out. The code name is Minivan. I don't know if that's the real name or not, but that'll be coming. But I just did BS on there, walking around in the back. But if you don't see me, you know that I'm working, and I'll be right back. But I am gonna sooner or later, and I promise I'm gonna have a time where I come on the same time every morning. I'm making a point of that. I'm waiting on my other computer today. We stepping our game up. Right? So the reason for the delay is discovery, right? And that's the issue. But everybody wants this case. I wish I could get out there to this case, but I gotta have the means to do so. You gotta have money. You gotta get an Airbnb, right? And then look at what happened too. Imagine if I would have went out there, right? Imagine if I would have went out there. Hold on, y'all. So let's get to. And then they rescheduled the hearing. But I would have known that they would schedule it. But then you got to book Airbnbs. Hold on. Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay, so we're going to get to this clip. Hold on, I got to pull it up. Let's pull it. Okay. All right, so let me pull up this clip. Nancy Grace giving new evidence. Okay, they got a lot of new tea, right? And then here's another thing too. Okay, I'm going to give you the tea before the tea. So Celeste, one of her friends, came out and said that she was pregos, allegedly that she was pregos. Right? So remember, when they found the body, it was so mutilated that they couldn't really tell. Right? Hold on. Why I can't get to this? Okay. I got to search it, y'all. Give me a second. So let me search this because it's not coming up in my files. Okay, let's search. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it up this way because it's not. Oh, there it is. See, as soon as I was getting ready to search it. Okay, so let's listen to this, y'all. Everybody get your drinkifications. Put your earbuds on at your work. Put me on the Bluetooth because it's getting ready to get real interesting. All right? Everybody.
Bombshell tonight. In the last hours, the musician D4VD David Anthony Burke in court and caught on camera winking to his legal team. He's not worried about Celeste. This as the bombshell lands. Celeste bestie said,
this dude coming in court winking at, in court, the judge don't like it when you do certain gestures and stuff to the legal team, right? They don't like it. Hey, Growski, you doing the upgrade on technology? Yes, Growski, I am. And thank you for joining the Discord. All right, thank you for joining. I see you in there. All right. If you got any stories that you want to talk about, y'all, join the Discord and put it in the Discord. All right. And if it's interesting, we'll talk about it, or anything you want me to do a reaction to on the Y to the Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And everybody come on in. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. So let's get into it.
Celeste was pregnant. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you.
She alleged. Nancy Grace don't be saying alleged. Okay, but we're going to say alleged over here. Let's listen.
With us.
Prosecutors say that Celeste was murdered on April 23rd.
The person who potentially committed this heinous crime feels like they can get away with it and no one else knows what happened.
He pays it to have Celeste brought to him like she's a pizza. Straight to the courthouse, joining us, Taylor Parise, investigative reporter from LA Magazine. Taylor Parise, thank you for being with us. Tell me what happened in court. Is it true David Anthony Burke, D4VD, winked at people in court?
Yeah, Nancy, thank you for having me. He was very casual. As he walked out, his defense said something to him. He smiled and he winked as he was taken out of the courtroom.
Okay, right there. My teeth are on edge. Who was he winking at, Taylor Parise?
Yeah, so he was winking at his defense team. Blair Burke was specifically who was speaking to him.
Taylor Parise, was D4VD, David Anthony Burke's family in court?
I did not see them in courtroom, no.
Interesting. How did he look? What was he wearing?
He was wearing his orange jumpsuit as he has been. Last time he was clean shaven. Today we saw the beard was growing in a bit, but he was very casual. He had his arms on the armrest. He was leaning forward. Yeah, he was very comfortable, it seemed like.
Very comfortable. Good to know. You stated he was smiling at his lawyer. Taylor Parise, was he shackled? Was he handcuffed at the wrist, the feet, the waist?
Yes, every time he's been in the courtroom, he has been shackled in all of those places.
Oh, wow.
He's brought in by an officer. He's taken out by an officer.
Does he still have a good appetite?
Seems like he still has a good appetite. He looks very young. Very different now that he doesn't have the beard that he had originally came to the courtroom with.
Wow.
You would not know that he was in court for murder.
Don't move. With us, Taylor Parise, investigative reporter with Los Angeles Magazine. Dr. Bethany Marshall is joining us, and boy, do I need a shrink, possibly a drink and a shrink. But Dr. Bethany Marshall, renowned psychoanalyst out of this jurisdiction, LA, star of a new podcast, On the Couch with Dr. Bethany, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Bravo and Peacock, and find her at drbethanymarshall.com.
Thank you so
Dr.
much,
Bethany
Joe.
Marshall, he's smiling, winking, very at ease. He has altered his appearance to make him baby-faced. Thoughts?
Symptoms would be consistent with a personality disorder called antisocial or sociopathic personality disorder, where the person does not get anxious or become anxious at the thought of negative repercussions to their actions. And this would be consistent with what we've seen about him all along, having her hold up a Louis Vuitton purse, Celeste, so that her face is not seen. So kind of like hiding in plain sight, all of these criminal activities. And now he is smug. He feels like he's at the center of things and that nothing bad is going to happen to him.
He's probably thinking about how many records he's going to sell, how high his clicks are going to vault after he beats this murder charge. Back to Taylor Parise, joining us, investigative reporter at LA Magazine, at the hearing, outside the hearing. Taylor Parise, again, thank you for joining us tonight. Taylor, what was the purpose of the hearing? Because on all the dockets, it's reported as a preliminary hearing, but this is not a traditional preliminary hearing as we know it, such as when the state calls witnesses and brings on evidence sufficient to have the case formally charged and bound over for a felony trial. So what was it? Is it more, let's have a hearing to set up a hearing?
Yeah, exactly. They originally had the preliminary hearing set for May 26th. Today was a status hearing to find out if the defense was ready to move forward in court. They decided they were not. Both the prosecution and defense agreed to move the date. It's going to now be on June 29th with a status hearing like today on June 17th.
Taylor Parise.
So I would love, Ms. Chung, I would love to do outside courtroom footage on this case. I would love to, right? But you got to spend money to get there. You know what I'm saying? If the community, right? Okay, now I'm going to talk in code, y'all. If my community could fundificationize me to go out there during the case, you know what I'm saying? If y'all could fundifize me, if I could start like a fundification, all right? The case is in Los Angeles, So I would have to find an Airbnb for the week. I could find an Airbnb for like, about 100 a night. 100 a night, right? I love your code words. You like, right? Yeah, because the clock doesn't like a lot of things. Like, they see the clock regulates people like the B app should. The B app should be more like the Clocker app, even though they don't like that, but it regulates people on here. Like, you can't be on here calling SWAT on people and taking away people's kids and outside. You can't be on the clock doing all of that because they got it regulated over here. Okay, that would be dope if you could go. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going. So the hearing is pushed back to June. When is the hearing pushed back? The hearing is pushed back to June 29th, right? So if I could get out there June 29th, right? But I want to go when the hearing is like, that's one day. So I could go one day and come back, right? But it might be for a short hearing, right? But then I want to go out there when the trial really gets underway. Like the trial is going on all week. What's up, LA Lisa? What's up? LA Lisa, I'm on the B to the IGOZ app. I'm on the B to the IGOZ app. All right. And LA Lisa, I'm going to give you my what's to the AppSy because I want to tell you about something. I got something for you. I want to get your info anyway, but I'm gonna send you a message. Send me a message on IG to remind me. But I got something for you. But I'm on the B to the I to the GZOGO. Okay, Beagle was his name, and the same name, one word. All right. I would love to go out there and cover this case. Okay. If I could go one day and come back, that's cool. But I would want to go when they really get it going. You know how it's going for the whole week? Like this is going to be one day, June 29th, and then they're going to schedule a hearing. The hearing probably ain't going to go on until probably the winter. I could go that one day and come back and then just do content out there. Kalila's out there, LA Lisa's out there. I know other people out there, so I could go a few days and get some content out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I would love to go out there. So maybe that you think that's something that who if I put up read between the line a G to the Funzy page, right? To help me get out there to that case, put a yes or no in the comments if you would support it. You know what I'm saying? If you get enough people that would support it, then I would definitely go. But I want to go when the case is going, right? And it's on for the week. Once it starts going, it's going to be like the Diddy trial, right? Yes. Everybody's saying yes. It's going to be like Janet's back. What's up, Janet? It's going to be like the Diddy trial, right? Once it goes, it's going to be like a week. And then I could stay out there that week. It'd probably go for a week or 2 weeks. I think this case, like Diddy's trial, had a lot of witnesses. I don't know how many witnesses this case got. As it goes along, we'll find out. That one friend, Neo, didn't cooperate and he got arrested. But he didn't get arrested because he had something to do with the case or involved. He got arrested because he was trying to defy the summons. Okay? If we did 50, it's good. Okay, if we okay. All right. Okay. Okay, boom, I got you. All right, all quick to say yes, but as long, right? You give us the real clarifications, right? Good afternoon, Samantha. Hey, what's up with you? So everybody coming on in, we're talking about the D4VD case. Hold on, y'all. I gotta take my vitamin of vegetables. Oh, this one today is like a horse pill, right? It's big. So, so let's make a goal. I want to go out there. So I'm going to set up a goal, to go travel. Not only to that case, I could go to other cases too. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind going out. I mean, I'm not too fond of the plane, but I will get on it if it's business. I will get on the plane for business. You know what I'm saying? And, I could do more content out there. I might go out there and find DDG. What's up, Diamond? Like Moet Goddess found him. Right? So, everybody come on in. We're talking about D4VD, David Burke, the singer, who was allegedly accused of chopifying this girl up and putting it in the front of his Tesla, and then going on about his business like the body wasn't going to be stinking and he wasn't going to be caught. But he was rudely mistaken. Okay? So, thank you so much. Thank you for so much. Yes, everybody using it. Everybody got the tapper? Everybody, hey, Sin, what's up? If you want the tapper, go and join the Discord. All right, I got the tapper for Android, and then I got instructions for iPhone. You have a built-in tapper. Did you know that? Did you know that iPhone's got a built-in tapper? You just got to set it up. It's called the recipes. All right, so I got those instructions. Go get yours. People are going in and grabbing. Not only for me, because Miss Knockout's not a hater. You use it for all your broadcasters. You use it for who you want. For me, I would think you would use it for me too because I gave it to you. Right? But use it for my knockout. People say, oh, it's enough money for everybody. Oh, I want to see everybody grow. But they don't really mean it, a lot of people. I know when people mean it. Your actions show that you mean it. You got to go by people's actions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not intimidated by other people growing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not intimidated by other people growing. If I got something for you, I'm going to do just like I did LA Lisa. I'm going to be like, I got something for you. Hit me. If I know about a job that's hiring in your town, I'm going to tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? We got to get more into helping each other grow and not destroying and holding people back. So let's get back to it. So we're listening to Nancy Grace, y'all. All right, this is heavy duty. So buckle up, y'all.
He's stating that the defense isn't ready to move forward, and the state says it also is not ready to move forward, possibly because there are volumes and volumes of evidence easy to find if you're willing to go mining online. For example, watch this, Taylor.
It's kind of giving Harley Quinn. Okay. Aw, cute.
Found some.
I like it. And then, wait, this. Stickers.
Stalkers.
That's one of their friends.
Where's the body glitter?
We go to the USA now.
Where's the body glitter from Claire?
What did she say? What did she say? What did she say with the body? Did she say, where's the body? I'm hearing things.
Okay, clear glitter.
Okay, chat. I'm gonna show you guys my face makeup.
Just got more, maybe around. You have to listen very carefully. I'm going to play for you the pertinent part. Listen.
It's kind of giving Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Cute.
And then just
I not hear what's being said through that open door, just on the other side of that very thin wall, and you see the one girl mirror and listen. What was just said by witness one, which is a female? I think I know who she is. The female says, "Tell me more about Celeste." Then you hear the woman say, "Yeah, you killed her." And then you hear witness two state, "Yeah, me and David, they're so casual. And the other girls are just talking about finding their body glitter. And I want you to listen to the long form one more time because a speaker is identified by name. Joe Scott Morgan, listen.
It's kind of giving Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Aw, cute.
I like it. And then, wait, this stickers.
Stalkers. Oh.
So they're calling them in for witnesses because they're finding all this stuff in plain sight. That's why I call these people dumb criminals. Who does that? Look how nonchalant they are, right? With somebody being unalive, they probably all know, allegedly, all talking about it, and they're streaming online. 0 F's are given. This is the world of social media and the world that we're living in today. People are doing things and they're giving 0 F's. Because it's all content in their mind. It's all content. Let's listen. This whole they're playing, y'all. Go to Y22.
Cousin knows. Where's the glitter?
We go to the USA now. Where's the body glitter from Claire?
So let me what she's saying. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me tell you exactly what she's saying. Let me go to the clip. Hold on. Let me tell you exactly the conversation that they're having. Hold on, let it come up. I'm going to read exactly. Now, we're going to go back to the clip, but I want to read to you exactly what they're saying in this clip. Okay? So first, she says, tell me more about Celeste. Right? Witness 3 says, oh, shit. Right? Because these are all going to be witnesses, these girls. Right? Yeah, you unalived her. Straight out. She said, you unalived her. Straight out, she says this online streaming. This is a stream. This is online, right? And then witness 2 said, yeah, me and David. So witness 2 is saying, yeah, me and David. Okay, now you're going to be included in this. You're going to be included in this case. You're online saying, yeah, me and David. Isn't this crazy? It goes to show you the society that we live in, right? Yeah, me and David, witness 2 says, right? Then, hold on, I'm reading it verbatim. Let's see. So then witness 3 says, who? They're all in that bathroom. Was she in the bathroom first? They said, witness 3 says, who? They're all in this bathroom. So this is like evidence. They all got them coming in for witness. Now you're part of a crime because you decide to go online and make this content. This is what the B app does. They're coming. Y'all going to get, I told y'all, the man who starts with the C is y'all's karma. He going to get them on all of y'all. And oh, by the way, yes, the Popo, right? I'm talking to the B apps now. If you was in here, I'll go back over that story. You can watch it. Oh, no, you can't watch it back because I wasn't on Y2 Tuesday when I talk about it. I'll do a recap. They got a big thing going on a B to the IGO app because this guy on there, I ain't going to mention no names because I don't want them over here because I'm talking about him because I know he's watching everybody's lives, right? He called the SWAT allegedly on these people falsely, and they almost got unalived. They had the SWAT come down. What's up, BX? They tore up their house. They had the drones pushing out the windows. They think that's all over there cute and funny. But I'm saying that he is their karma because they all over there condoning and watching. And if he comes on today, because he's still on the app, when he comes on today, they all going to be gifting him over there watching, nosy. They all talking about him, making money off him. This is what they do on the app. They do the same thing on this app on what they're doing. What we watching right now. They the same way on this app. I'm on it, but I do real content. But they don't support me like they support the messy people. Oh no, they'll be right. They over there watching so-and-so for 4 hours, 5, 6 hours, talking about the man who's got people swatted, making money off of him, getting views, getting popularity, thousands of people in your room. You keeping it going. Thank you, BX. So witness 3 says, who? They're all in the bathroom, right? Then they talking about this online. All right. Now let's see what else they say. Hold on, you. She's gonna go over it, but witness 1 says, nobody look at me. Witness 3 says, you're already crossed her, bro. Witness 1 gas, especially in there, she says. Witness 3 says, yeah, especially in there. Witness 3 says, bro. Witness 1 says, what does she look like? I'm very close to her. Witness 2 says, just give him a second. Right. Criminals, the dumb criminals. Says, you are his, and that's unlegible. And don't you know what she looked like? Wait, hold on. I'm reading. Witness 2 says, I don't know. Witness 3 laughs. You can describe her. So they talking about Celeste. On the life. These are young kids. I'm not going to say they know no better because you know right from wrong when you get a certain age. You know right. Witness 1 says, okay. Right? So that's all. So let's go back to the clip. That wasn't too bright. That's not clear glitter. So this is what I just read. So let's watch it now.
Okay, chat. I'm gonna show you guys my face makeup.
I feel sick. I feel sick because I believe the prosecutors will be able to show that is David Anthony Burke, D4VD's home. And in that home, Celeste was murdered. And they're all talking about body glitter, and they can hear what's being said. Just got analyzed. You hear the female state, tell me more about Celeste. Oh, the woman, yeah, you killed her. And then someone says, yeah, me and David. And then who? They're all in the bathroom. In other words, they can hear us, idiot. And the girls, don't look at me. Then, and the woman, I look like? Am I clever? Talking about Celeste. What did Celeste look like? I'm very close to her. In other words, do I look like her? And you hear the other male say, give him a second. And the woman says, you don't know what she looked like? It's past tense. What she looked
right.
like.
Look like. Past tense.
What? Are they that ignorant? They think I can computers. I want you, Joe Scott Morgan. You're the death investigator. While they're on the letter, there's Celeste.
Decomposing there at that residence. I can tell you what she looks like.
So they're talking about it, and I was just going to say that the way they're talking about her in the bathroom, thank you, Ambi, is like she's still in the house. It's like she's still in the house, right? They on there talking about body glitter and makeup and unalive bodies, right? Thank you, Kim. Hey, Kim, welcome. Everybody that's just coming in, thank you so much, Kimberly. We're talking about D4VD case updates. So everybody come on in, grab a seat, grab your Bluetooth if you're at work. If you're at home, you're cleaning, put me on the Bluetooth, all right? And then you can watch this back on all platties, right? We're only doing an hour on YouTube now, because 4 hours is too long. So we're watching clips of the updates in the D4VD case. If anybody's coming in and want to know what we're talking about, let's go.
What she looked like relative to their current, their present at that moment in time. And yeah, they did use past tense, but let's understand her mortal remains are just on the other side of those walls, Nancy. Let that sink in just for a second. She's in an advanced state of decomposition.
So the body was in the house at this point, stinking. The body was in the house, and that's when they had the video also, right, of him explaining, "Oh, I took a poop, and that's why it's stinking like that." And the guy looked in the camera like, like, come on, you know why. Let's listen.
He's been packaged. The child has been packaged after having been rendered down. He's in multiple elements, Nancy, and not all of them are solid. The ME actually talked about liquefaction of remains. That's what she looked like.
Wow.
And I think that people need to strap in and understand that it's not just the principal that's been named, that's been charged in this case. It's all the circle that surrounds this individual that is inside of that domicile. Beyonce. You're going to tell me that no one smelled anything? You're going to tell me that no one saw flies? That they're just going on about their business as if it's another day? It is absolutely positively disgusting, Nancy. Yeah.
Shalea says being at somebody's house who did that to somebody and talking about it and being comfortable is insane. It is, ain't it? Ain't it? Look at the times we live in. Look at everything that's going on that we live in. Right? Look at we got the T-Man out here saying that he don't care about our financial. Did y'all see that video of the man that starts with a T on camera saying, "Oh, I don't think about America's how they doing financially. I don't care about that." Blatantly saying that on T. They give 0 Fs. We're living in a tone where they give 0 Fs about being held accountability. Sleeping through meetings. You would think that you would drink a Red Bull or something to stay up. Somebody give you a coffee. You blatantly out there sleeping through meetings, and we're saying to ourselves, this is the person who's running the countryification, and we can't do nothing about it. They can't do nothing to that man. That's why he became president. Because he knew if he became president, he would be untouchable. And it's happening. All those doggone EpiPen file people are speaking out now. The maggots are online. They're putting the files up for the third. They got a Epstein. We're gonna go one day. Y'all want to go? They got they have an Epstein museum in New York. Did y'all see that? We're gonna go and we're gonna go there. They got an Epstein museum with the case files. You know, Trump he's gonna try to shut that down. What's up, Spider? He gonna try to shut that down. They got a museum with all the files in it. We're gonna go on a field trip and we're gonna go and view and look at and go through those files. We're gonna go and look at those files. I don't know what the T app, is owned by his friends, so they might get mad about that. But we're gonna go and we're gonna try. Let's listen.
Let me tell you what she looked like.
You mentioned once it's like they are dancing on her grave and her coffin, so to speak, from our friends at Fox 11 is David Anthony Burke, aka D4VD's Tesla. We just showed you the video of that aerial shot where her body had been discovered due to the stench of human decomposition. Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, renowned psychoanalyst. Dr. Bethany, what is wrong with these people? They're like, they're in there. Don't let them hear what we're talking about. And you see the girl putting on makeup. Listen and pause. It's so arrogant. This girl, a little girl that he met at age 11 and started wooing her at age 11, still wearing Hello Kitty outfits. She's dead. And they're so flippant.
Yeah. The arrogance did not start with her death, Nancy. It started way before, when she was 11 years old. All these people in this house saw him parading an 11-year-old in and out like she was his girlfriend. There were probably a lot of little Celestes coming in and out, and these young women putting on body glitter and behind and stars on their face. They saw a lot before they saw her death.
All right, everybody. It's
Hi,
gonna
guys.
go through some commercials.
No more
Everybody
wars.
keep tappifying,
Donald
keep
Trump
sharing,
and
fine.
Benjamin
We're going through the
Netanyahu should have never started
D4VD
this
case.
war in Iran.
All
And we
right,
must
everybody put
end it now.
hashtags in the
In
comments.
Congress, I
So
won't
that's
vote
pure
for 1 more
arrogance.
cent.
That's
It's
pure
illegal anymore.
psychopathic.
We should be using your tax
That's the
dollars
tone of the
for
area that we live in.
child
Everybody
care,
thinks they're
and
invincible.
affordable housing here at home, not more
People think
death
that they
and
just
destruction.
invincible, like they never
I'm
going to
Dan
get
Goldman,
caught.
and I approve this message.
Well, they
Because
all
New
going to be
Yorkers
brought
are
for
done
justice.
with
All those
government
people you
wars.
seen in the bathroom, them young kids.
Yo,
If you know, we ain't going to keep making an excuse that they young YNs.
It's got to have that.
They know what they doing. They know what they say. They all going to be brought into court,
I feel you. I'm working on
right?
it.
And when it gets real for them, right? Because remember, you see what the girl said in the video that they just played. The girl said, "You and David unalived her," or she said, "Yeah, me and David." Did she say something like that? They said you unalived her. She said, "Yeah, me and David."
So how do you do that? Using many times.
Who does that? Who comes on live and dry snitches on us? Who does that? Let's listen.
Hi, guys. American homeowners. The FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud called title theft. And your equity
Okay,
is the target.
we're gonna skip a little
with
bit.
just a forged.
Let's skip a little bit.
In Baltimore, Maryland, never lack of business there for a defense attorney. Former prosecutor, defense and civil attorney at Rice Law, Randolph Rice. Why don't they just go ahead, roll over, and plea after that video we just showed? Did you not hear the male speaker? Did you not hear who we believe to be David Anthony Burke? You hear the male speaker say, when the woman says, "You killed her," and he says, "Yeah, me and David." Roll
Nancy.
over.
Nancy,
Surely
I
did.
respect what you're saying, but I think you might be wrong here. And here's why. Somebody else just admitted to this crime. He said me and David. That means there's an alternative.
When is that the guy
and
near?
David Burke may not be the killer in this case.
Oh, you're so happy. You have the quote, other dude in the SOD, some other dude did it defense. Okay, I thought you were going to go on a riff about how
did
this
say
isn't
me and
real, but
David.
it's AI. That's what you said before.
I don't think this is AI. This
I
is
don't
too
think it's
real.
AI.
This is too.
I don't think this is
This
AI.
is a defense attorney's
What's up,
dream to
Tam
hear
Mama?
that somebody else admitted
Hey,
to killing her.
thank you
That's
so
my
much for the
first piece of
roses.
evidence. If I'm David Burke's attorney, I'm putting it up there and go, whoever that voice is,
thank
that's
you for the
my sister.
121K.
Hold
Y'all are
on,
using
Nelly.
those
The first
tapifications.
time I told you and showed you this video, didn't you say, that's not real, that's AI? Didn't you say that?
I think it's real, Nancy.
Oh,
I
Nancy's
think it's
getting
real
on him.
based on what I'm seeing.
Look at
now.
Nancy
What I-
getting on him.
You say it was AI. You said that the first time I threw this video at you, said it's AI, that's not real, you can't prove it in court. That's what you said the first time. Now you've come up with another
Get him,
angle.
Nancy.
It's like a
Get
Rubik's
him.
Cube. It's like a game for you.
Thank you so much.
If I can
Tam.
prove it's
Tam,
not
Mama.
AI and it's real, then you go, oh, yeah, okay, it's real, and some other dude did it. You're amazing. You're amazing, Randolph Rice. Are you denying that you first said it's AI?
I think I'm changing my opinion on this, and I think this sounds like it's
Changing
real.
his
And
opinion.
this is a great piece of evidence from Mr. Burke in court.
Okay.
AI is dangerous. You don't know what's real and what's
And
not.
this is why you win so many cases. Okay, moving
So a lawyer thought that was AI at first. Look at that. See, AI is getting dangerous. You don't know what's real and what's not, y'all.
forward to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Celeste Bestie drops a bomb.
Nancy,
when we looked at this story and wondered, when is this going to come out, that Celeste Riva's best friend said that in January, about 12 weeks before Celeste was murdered, Celeste was at her parents' home, and her best friend is sitting there trying to talk her out of running away because Celeste wanted to run away to David. Now, the friend thought she was talking about a classmate. She wasn't. But Celeste gave her the reason. Thought she was pregnant. Celeste tells her best friend, I'm pregnant.
So the keeper said he thought she was pregnant, or did she know she was pregnant? Alleged. Thinking and knowing is two different things.
Run away to David's. It is the shocking motive we've been waiting for.
Okay.
Wow.
Right there. Of course, Randolph Rice, you're the veteran trial lawyer. The state doesn't have to prove motive at all, but practically speaking, we know the jury will want a motive. I want to hear, okay, how you're going to spin that out in court. Because first, there are claims the video I just showed was artificial intelligence. It wasn't real. Then when you rethought it, you came up with a much better idea. Now it is real, and you can fabricate, create, argue that some other dude did it defense based on that video. But what are you going to do with Celeste pregnant?
I still think we need to get the DNA back, and we need to match that up to see who exactly is the baby, who is the father, because Nancy, the father may be this alternative killer, this person's voice we hear in the back.
But they said the body was so decomposed. How are they going to find all that out? I think it's too late to find out all that. I mean, can they take tissue from her and find out? They can't get blood. I like Nancy
Grounds who says,
Grace
I
too.
did it. Maybe he's the father.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
You really are amazing. See, you threw a curveball at me right there, Randolph Rice, because I thought you were going to say, what baby? Nobody can prove she was pregnant. But instead, you're like a dog with a bone, and you're running with it. Yes, she is pregnant, but it's somebody else's baby, and they killed her. Okay, I don't believe any of it, but I have to admire your thinking, kind of like a fox. Joe Scott Morgan, help me out here. Joseph Scott Morgan is a professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University. He is the author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon. He's the star of a hit podcast, Body Bags, with Joseph Scott Morgan. But for our purposes, he is a death investigator. In fact, that's how I first met him in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. He was working with the Medical Examiner's Office with 10,000 plus death scenes under his belt. Why don't I know whether Celeste was pregnant or not?
Well, because the ME actually in their report stated that there was no evidence of pregnancy. And then they had to go back and amend it.
That's what they said.
And at which point in time they said it's undetermined, essentially, or indeterminate is what it comes down to. I can tell you this, according to the findings that they had at autopsy, they didn't show, and I'm talking about the physical findings, they didn't show any evidence that she was in fact pregnant.
Right.
We cannot exclude, though, however, if she had had a pregnancy that had at some point in time had been terminated.
Oh, they could get into the cervix,
at some point in time, either through, I don't know, morning after pill, or we're talking about some kind of terminal where she goes and has a child. So that's difficult to understand. And what even complicates matters even more, Nancy, is the fact that she is in such an advanced state of decomposition.
Right.
This is a very difficult road to go down. We do know, however, that they didn't find anything that would indicate she was pregnant at the time.
So they did the autopsy and they checked for that at the time, right? Yes, ma'am, if they wanted to test that extensively. Yeah, they did test at the time, Simpson, and they said that her uterus wasn't enlarged, but then I didn't hear them test the cervix. Meaning the bone, you mean? Because the cervix is like the bone, right? That's probably still there, right? Did she get buried yet? Did she get buried yet, anybody? I got to look that up. Did they put her in the ground yet? Did they have a funeral? I don't think they buried her body yet. I think they still like doing, like, or stuff for the case. Oh, they did bury her. But they still got her DNA and all that. They are test specifically, yes, the bone, and they will tell the story of the. So they might have to pull her body back up. Oh, they might have to if they want to do that, since then, I would reckon that they will have to pull the body back up to do that. Right? Let's listen.
Okay, let's recap what you just said, J. Scott Morgan. Number one, the body was in extensive, advanced state of decomposition.
Right.
Number one.
Yeah.
You say that first they said nothing was remarkable about her uterus. Right. Then they had to go back and amend that and state, we really can't tell if she's pregnant.
See?
Is that correct?
That is correct. And that's the big mystery here, because they don't do a follow-up, like a follow-up report from a pathology standpoint where they say, okay, this is physically demonstrative of why this is indeterminate now. Where you have
not doing that, they cannot say
of the organs and the tissues that we look at both with the unaided eye and also microscopically. That doesn't exist.
So bottom line, we can't tell. We've got the best friend's word for it. And Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, we have what the prosecution lays out in their brief. And that is evidence of an abortion and evidence of the Plan B morning after pill.
Those text messages between Celeste and David Burke talk about the Plan B. They talk about pregnancy. And Nancy, they talk about threats on his career. Remember, the week Celeste Rivas was murdered was the first week David Anthony Burke's album Withered and the world tour were kicking off.
Wow.
And Celeste dropped that bomb on him.
She was
because
a liability.
She was tired of him seeing other little girls.
Plan B in the text, abortion in the text, and we uncovered this text purportedly from Celeste to Burke. Things are getting so heavy. I'm scared about everything. They're starting to ask questions. Call me when you see this. I need you. So, Dr. Bethany Marshall, it's going to be a cold day in HELL.
They can do that. They got all of that.
Is going to allow any evidence of a pregnancy.
That's why I really want to go to that court case. When the court case get going, they're going to have all of that. But I think they probably got to resume, and they will. If they want to, the prosecutor can resume that body back up if they want to. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let's see. Let's keep this going, y'all. Listen.
Let's see. An abortion or the Plan B usage to come out from a little girl that is now 14 that he started romancing at age 11. He had to pick.
He had to pick his career or her, and he chose his career. He allegedly chose homicide. Nancy, this text breaks my heart because this is a little girl who imagines she's in a true and real relationship with David. You could just see it heavy. I need you. And the fact is, it's not a true relationship. She's probably one of many, many victims.
You're right, Dr. Bethany. We uncovered texts from Celeste's brother where he's describing Burke promising to marry Celeste and have a family with her. Dave Mack, another question. Isn't it true that Celeste's passport was found in Santa Barbara, that digital evidence tracks D4VD David Anthony Burke to Santa Barbara on a late night trip? Her passport is found where he was tracked. And isn't it true there are claims D4VD took Celeste across state lines to London, which would have been in her passport, to Texas and to Vegas? Was that to get an abortion?
Nancy, everything you just said is 100% accurate. David Anthony Burke allegedly took Celeste to London, Houston, and Las Vegas. And the reason investigators say he did that was to meet his family, shocking enough. Now, her passport was discovered in January of this year, about 7 months after David Anthony Burke traveled to the exact area where that passport and other evidence was found in Santa Barbara County.
You're to wait until you feel an invitation.
I'm expecting something, so that's why I gotta keep checking. You know, around here, the sea heads will get your stuff if you don't catch it. All right, y'all.
Thinks I have a shopping problem.
So we'll be back in there. Everybody tap a fire. Everybody share a fire. If you're new, just coming in, we're talking about D4VD.
My husband bought me a cheap fitness tracker.
And this case gets crazier and crazier.
$48.
It gets
now I can ignore his text and luxury, so go download Polly and win one.
If you're still paying $150 for this eye cream, we need to have an intervention.
All right, we'll be back in a second.
15 cents.
Everybody put some hashtags in the comment. And join the super fans if you can.
Retail prices are a scam.
All right, we'll be back
this
in
pot is over $2 grand in the
how it
store. I
is with
paid
the
$122, authentic, brand new, no fakes. I don't pay retail. I do Polly.
Parents, if your child plays Roblox, listen up. You could qualify for up to $300,000 or more in compensation.
This guy,
if your child was sent sexual images or
he
material, estimated compensation
stay
is
indoors
between $25,000.
Why is it stay? Wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on.
If your child was coerced to
stay
share
indoors
explicit
warning?
content and is now in treatment, estimated compensation is between $50,000 and $300,000. For cases involving physical abuse or attempted assault by someone named on the game, estimated compensation is between $300,000 and $1 million or more. You can file a claim anonymously in most states, and it only takes a couple minutes.
Oh, they're saying because of the smog. If you have smog, they're saying stay inside. They said a toxic smog is coming over. See?
Summertime expenses stacking up.
That's another story, y'all.
For many, the only option is swiping that credit card, leaving you trapped in a cycle of high interest debt. But go to American Finances. Talk to them. They look at your current debt and can show you how your home equity can work for you. Imagine rolling that high interest debt into one very manageable monthly payment. No upfront fees, zero pressure from salary-based consultants. Why is that important? Because they're not on a contingency fee. They're not salespeople that are going to get a cut if they sell you their services. On average, their customers are saving $800 a month, not $800 in all, $800 a month. Start today, and you might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. American Financing, America's home for home loans. 866-888-0344. 866-888-0344. Or simply go online to americanfinancing.net/Nancy. americanfinancing.net/Nancy. And good luck. Okay, Randolph Rice, I bet you know where your passport is. Why was Celeste's passport out where D4VD, David Anthony Burke, went in the middle of the night? Why was it out there? What did he not want us to see in her passport? What happened in London? What happened in Vegas? What happened in Texas?
That wasn't my package.
Well,
so, hold on, y'all. Hold on, we got to get back in there. Everybody keep tapifying, keep sharifying. Welcome in if you're coming in. We're talking about D4VD, a.k.a. David. All right, hold on. Okay, let's get back at it. I thought that was my package. But that was an Amazon.
Texas.
Well, it's clearly easy to explain why he went to these different locations. He wanted to take her along to see the lifestyle he was living, to meet his family. Nothing nefarious here. And again, I go back to this.
His family lives there. His family lives in the States.
But he was obviously traveling for his shows, for promotions, and he wanted to take her along because at the time this was his girlfriend. He wanted to be with her on his
so
trip.
He's saying he didn't necessarily have to take her out of town to get an aid to the abortionification, right? Now remember that they got that new law, and plus she's a minor, right? Don't you got to have some kind of authorization from your parents to get rid of a kid? Don't you got to have some authorization from your parents to get an A to the B? Because that's what I thought, right? But with this dude and his money, and he's signed to a label, he's this big record artist, he could easily forge some documents. Oh, not in California. Oh, Sin said not in California. See? Let's listen.
Did you say it was his girlfriend, this minor that he met at age 11? He wants to take her to a hotel in London over my cold dead body. Is that going to happen? Right. But
so
what did that passport reveal? What happened in London? What happened?
Wait a minute. So he took her from the United States to London. That's intercontinental international trafficking. D4VD can have a trafficking case on his hand. It might be coming, y'all. It might be coming. When you're pregnant as a minor, you are considered emancipated. Right. Wow. But so, yes, Storm. But in some states, they got that law that you can't get an AB even if the baby is unaliving you or it's making you sick. And if the doctor gives you the AB, you remember they passed that law. And if the doctor gives you the AB, he could go to jail for it. Right? Y'all know that law. Right? They reverse Roe and Wade law. But that's not in all states, okay? You have to be a teenager, 14 and greater. Yeah, so when she was unalive, she was 14. Now, we don't know the exact timeline of all of this when this happened. Was it when she was 14? Was it before she was 14? Right? But that last year, she was 14. So maybe it happened when she was 14. I don't know. But this is crazy, y'all. Let's listen. This is crazy.
And in Texas, what happened in Vegas? Is that where the abortion occurred? Did an abortion occur? The state says there's evidence in their text about abortion and Plan B. Is that motive for murder? And speaking of red flags, take a look at D4VD, David Anthony Burke's concert. This is after Celeste is murdered. Wow, what is that, Dave? It looks like a female's coffin because in better light,
that's what I was talking about.
Small white coffin. What?
Remember I was telling you about this? Remember I told you that when I went and found out about this case and I was doing my research, he was bringing a coffin into one of their shows. This is it. This is it. Let's watch.
What?
What?
This is the theme.
What?
He has a coffin set up. He has attendees writing their thoughts and feelings to the deceased. Dr. Bethany Marshall, if this is not a red flag, then I'm colorblind.
And see, when perpetrators commit homicide, usually there's
part
a
of the
relief phase that lasts about 6 to 8 months. In other words, they are glad that they got the victim out of the way because the victim is causing some problem for them. And in this case, what's Celeste's problem that she's going to cause? Pregnancy, finding out about other little girls, telling her parents, telling her school teachers. So there's a certain
I have to
amount
tap the
of
light
delight
up. So in order
in the
to
fact
make
that
the
she's
background
gone. What
brighter.
I see with this
hold on.
coffin, and it's white, small, it's about her size. He is
That's why I can't wait to get my other. Is that better?
Because he is so relieved he has her out of the way that this is a happy dance for him. This is a celebration.
Straight back to the courthouse sitting.
When I get my computer, it'll be better because then I'll be able to show this footage directly in the screen. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm glad I'm getting my computer. This is a little better, is it? I can only make it so bright because I got to keep the lighting on me because if I don't have the light, see the light that I have that to show me, right? Because if I shut this off, look how dark I am, right? But you see this good, right? But then what happens on the clock is the clock won't put you out because they'll say that your area isn't well lit. Your area isn't well lit and they won't push you out. Isn't it crazy? So I'll have my computer soon, right? And then I'm going to pull the TikTok through TikTok Studio, right? And once I pull it through TikTok Studio, then we'll be able to, let me ask somebody who's technical in here. If I'm streaming through StreamYard, right, and then I stream through TikTok Studio, can I use the webcam for both of them at the same time? Or I could only use the webcam for one at a time? I don't know. Let me ask ChatGPT. Okay, let's get back to the commentary. Let's get back.
Investigative reporter, Los Angeles Magazine, LA Magazine.
I'm stepping it up, yo.
Taylor, we understand that at earlier appearances, D4VD, David Anthony Burke, closely shaved his face and tried to get a more youthful appearance to make him look like a juvenile. What about today?
You can look like a juvenile all you want.
As I said, the beard had grown in a little bit more today. He had previously requested from the judge to get a change of clothes as well as the haircut. They've approved the haircut. They have not approved to let him out of that jumpsuit yet.
A change of clothes. Randolph Rice, he wants a glow up from behind bars. And he's trying to look youthful. What does he want? A onesie and a passy when he walks into court? He doesn't get a glam squad makeover, Randolph Rice.
Onesie is crazy.
Keep asking. Keep asking. I want him looking as good as possible if I'm his attorneys. I want him coming in there because we all know there are going to be cameras. They're going to be showing his picture. I want him looking as great as possible for this trial in the public and in the courtroom.
How about this? What's he going to do next? Suck on a passy, wear a onesie. He wants to look young. And catch this. Here's the dichotomy. Here's the problem with what you're saying. He doesn't want his street clothes, as you call them. He wants new clothes completely different from his current wardrobe. He wants pressed khakis and a button-down shirt. Hey, let's roll through a bunch of video and pictures of D4VD.
That's the least of your worries, my dude.
I have never seen this guy.
That is the least of your worries.
Khakis, what, with a little cuff at the bottom? And a button-down shirt. Oh, by the way, this is his last videos right before he's arrested. He's back at work, quote, making music. He's not worried about Celeste. But back to you, Rice. He doesn't want his clothes. He wants brand new clothes so he can look like what? A 1L at Harvard Law School? Help me out.
Yep. I'm going to the nicest tailor in Los Angeles if I'm his attorney and I'm getting him the best suit. The most conservative ties, the nicest white shirt I can find, I'm putting him in that because I want him to look like, as you said, a 1L at Harvard, a first-year.
He could look like he want to look. All that evidence, I don't care if you wore him in there with a halo and a pair of Victoria's Secret wings. All that evidence is they's not looking at what you wearing. They looking at all that evidence. What are we talking about here? What? For what? Ain't nobody looking at your clothes and how you groomed and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, they'll talk about that if you're looking crazy. But at the end of the day, it's so much evidence. I don't care how you look. That's not going to help you. Nothing ain't going to help this dude.
Law student, nothing. Like he is the most professional person coming to that court. I want him looking better than his lawyers.
I think they want the baby face. I think they want him to look really, really young. Joe Scott Morgan, they're going to be faced with the fact that he started romancing Celeste when she was age 11.
Yes, both.
So they're going to try to bridge that age gap. Both. But what doesn't lie is her uterus. And what doesn't lie are those court documents talking about abortion.
Well, now I want Nancy Grace to be saying the cervix. Because Simpson came in here and schooled us on it. She should be saying the cervix now. Right? Now, the uterus is like damaged. They can't tell nothing from that.
The Plan B pill. If she had had an abortion, if she had ever used Plan B, the morning after pill, could they have determined that?
Not at this point. Not given.
She was so decomposed that it was hard for them to tell that from the cervix. That's why they said it's not swollen, that she probably wasn't pregnant. But like Simpson said, they don't know unless they test that cervix. So at this point, it's safe to say they don't know if she was pregnant or not. They got to rely on witness testimony and on records. Because if she had an abortion, if she brought a test, if any one of them brought a test on their credit, because they found out all the other stuff he brought on his credit card, they could find out if you brought a pregnancy test. They could find out if you brought a Plan B. Now, sometimes they get the managers and the other people around to buy stuff. But everybody that's surrounding him is going to be included in this case. Right, the uterus is decomposed. That part is gone at Yeah, see? So the cervix is the bone, and the bones are the last to go. That's why we got skeletons. The bones and the teeth are the last to go.
The degree of decomposition that we're talking about, Nancy, because those are things that we're going to be looking at from a hormonal standpoint, and it would be a real uphill battle given the condition of her remains. There's one other bit of evidence I want to see, Nancy, and that's going to be his financial receipts. I wonder.
See?
I just wonder.
He gonna say
did he pick up that body bag at the same place he picked up that coffin from? Inquiring minds want to know. I'd like to know. Where do you go for a coffin?
I thought he ordered them over Amazon.
Where do you
Hold
go
on
for
just a
a
moment,
body
Dave
bag?
Mack. Didn't he order? That's a really good point.
You can order a coffin on Amazon. Who knew that?
6 handles on it, which are
Yes,
wonderful.
Who knew that you could get a
But
coffin
didn't he
from
order
Amazon?
that? That's a yes, no, Dave Mack from
You can
Amazon.
get everything
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Amazon.
Yes, he ordered from Amazon.
What else did he order from Amazon? Just to refresh our record.
You can order a coffin from Amazon? Who knew that you could order a coffin from Amazon? It's probably cheaper. Wow. Let's listen. Wow. You can order everything from Amazon.
Collection, Dave Mack.
We've got the other trash bags, the chainsaws. The chainsaws. The baby swimming pool, the burn cage.
The burn cage, which is an incinerator. There is the kiddie pool. There are 2 chainsaws. I wonder if he ordered Plan B, the body bag.
Back then you could buy coffins online, but
shovels,
Amazon sells everything. Yeah.
Much more is going to be revealed. But speaking of everyone around her, take a look at this photo that we...
Amazon, I think, even sells tiny houses. They even sell houses on Amazon, right?
Unearthed online. And if we can do it, certainly the prosecution can do it. This is Celeste sitting on the front row amongst David Anthony Burke's
K-Max said
family.
you could provide your own coffin.
D4VD David Anthony Burke's parents, his sister, there's Celeste, and there is D4VD's brother, who, by the way, has you.
Diggity dog minute. You mean to tell me you could buy a car from Amazon? K-Mac, what kind of car can you get on Amazon? Like, where you got your car from? Oh, I got my car from Ford. Where'd you get your car from? Oh, I got my car from Lincoln. Where'd you get your car from? I got my car from Amazon. Wow.
Used the murder to launch his own singing career. All these people knew Burke was with a minor. You hear his, we think, agent in one video say, "Are you still dating that minor?" And nobody does anything.
Nobody does nothing.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here.
Nothing.
Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Fox 1. When breaking crime news develops, we investigate it and bring it to you.
But we got more commentary.
Updates, answers to unanswered questions from cases making the headlines and cases you may never have heard of until Crime Stories. We go inside investigations with exclusive interviews, crime victims, families seeking justice, investigators, experts, and sources from within the case.
Okay, so it's coming to the end of it, y'all. Hold on.
Day in an LA courtroom, D4VD David Anthony Burke, trying his best to maintain a baby face in front of the judge, did not get the glow up he wanted as a bombshell lands Celeste pregnant. Trying to confirm if you know or think you know anything about Celeste's murder. The state is building its case. Please call LAPD 213-486-6890.
All the people that know it is around them.
486-6890. We remember.
They got all the people that know about it right there.
St. Louis Metro.
Okay, yo, so let's go into something else, yo. Let's go into something else. Then we're going to cover a few more topics. Hold on. Let's go into something else. Okay, let's get a little bit more info. Then we're going to move on to some other case.
Accused murderer David Anthony Burke, a.k.a. David, was back in an LA courtroom today, and this has shaken up the entire case schedule. What exactly happened? What can we expect next? And what does this mean for the defense and the prosecution? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Jump into this without first telling you real quick about our partner, our sponsor, this app called Upside. Now, Upside gets you cash back, extra cash back on everyday purchases like gas, groceries, takeout. So here's what you do. You download Upside for free. You claim an offer at one of the 100,000 plus locations. You pay like normal with your card. You verify the purchase. And just like that, money back. So say I need to get gas or I want takeout one night. I'll search for
these
Upside
people
offers
with these
first. After I
commercials,
spend,
they making their money
that I can transfer right into my bank account. Now, Upside's frequent users, they earn an average of $254 back a year. So to start getting your...
Let's skip. All right, Joe.
Okay, we got a court hearing in the David case.
Oh, they're partnering with a car.
Investigative reporter in the courtroom. Going to bring her on in a minute to talk about what happened. Now, remember where we're at. The 21-year-old romantic homicide singer, real name David Anthony Burke, David.
Romantic homicide. Look at the name of that song.
Murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child.
So that's the name of one of his popular songs. Romantic homicide.
And on of human remains, all in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose decomposed, dismembered body was found in a Tesla in LA back on September 8th of last year. A Tesla reportedly registered to David out in Texas, and prosecutors have also alleged special circumstances with respect to the murder. That's what gets you potentially life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's what potentially gets you the death penalty, even though there's a moratorium on executions in California. Murder of a witness, murder for financial gain, lying in wait. That he used a deadly and dangerous weapon, a sharp instrument. And the ME's office concluded that Celeste's cause of death was multiple penetrating. Authorities alleging that David murdered Celeste to keep her quiet. That they were in an alleged illegal sexual relationship, her being a minor. That she was going to expose him. That she was going to ruin his career, a financially lucrative career. I did whole episodes on the potential evidence establishing where he was at in his career. They also talk about these alleged text messages the day before, the night before, where she was allegedly angry with her to keep playing that on April 23rd, 2025. He lured Celeste to this property in LA, Hollywood Hills, stabbed her repeatedly, watched her bleed out, and then proceeded to order supplies online to engage in dismemberment of her body.
Yeah, they ordered it.
Cover up
Look,
this alleged
they ain't even going to the store. Thank you, Sweet Tea, for the roses. Everybody's coming in. We're still on the D4VD case. Then we're going to move over to Ashley, okay? Because now with the Ashley case, they throwing his ex-wife into the mix. They throwing the ex-wife into the mix, okay? So we're going to move on over to that and get some commentary, right? Meanwhile, Joe McCann's walking free. He ain't really free. He's still, you still can't find him, but he's talking a little bit. All right. So everybody, we're doing updates on the D4VD case. All right. And Celeste Rivas, she was found in the trunk of his Tesla. All right. Sometime this week, we're going to be going over the Nature Boy documentary. Okay. Sometime this week, we will be going through the Nature Boy documentary sometime this week. All right, I want to wait till I get my computer to watch it so that we can, go through it and y'all could really see it, because I could put it on in the screen. I could put it in there. All right. So everybody come on in. Let's listen.
On chainsaws, body bag, laundry bags, inflatable pool. They claim a combination of forensic evidence.
He ordered body
footage,
bags,
cellular data, DNA evidence, witness
Amazon sells body bags too.
Ties him to these.
Now why would Amazon be selling a body bag? What customer? What would you want a body bag for? You're not a funeral home, and you're not EMT. Why would Amazon be? I didn't know you could get a body bag. What?
So what happened in court?
You said
today?
what too?
For that, let me bring on somebody who was in that courtroom today. Investigative reporter Julia Deng is with us. Julia, so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on to talk about this. Really appreciate it. I'm made of questions. I know this was a relatively short hearing, but very impactful, very important. First of all, how did David look? Let's start there.
Welcome, everybody.
Not great.
Thank you for the 164K.
You can imagine. I mean, we've talked about how he actually requested a haircut last time. It doesn't look to me like he got that haircut. He walked in wearing this orange LA County jail uniform, kind of lighter than what I'm wearing right now. He had a white long-sleeved shirt underneath it. He did not look clean-shaven. Hair looked to be a little bit longer, very curly, but he was actively paying attention. He was looking from attorney to attorney as they were speaking during this very brief status conference. And he did speak this morning. This was actually my first time hearing his voice live. It was brief. He just said, "Yes, Your Honor," when the judge addressed him. And it was a question about pushing back the upcoming dates in this case. So It is still, a question as to whether or not this is going to trial. And the big takeaway from this morning's status conference.
Come on, and he got so much evidence on him. He is definitely going to trial. He got too much evidence on him not to go to trial. He is definitely going to trial. For sure. Okay? But they got to do this as part of protocol, right? They got to do this as part of protocol, as part of procedure, regardless if they know it or not. Because sometimes something happened, it might, but this is going to go to trial. I'm telling you.
We are going to have to do this exercise over so there's going to be another status conference June 17th. And in this preliminary hearing that we've been talking about, May 26th. And as you've been reporting, Jesse, that was supposed to happen back in April. So now they pushed that back again. That's going to be June 29th now. So David Burke was asked, are you okay with that?
Shout out to my people on X.
And he just said, yes,
you to
Your
the
Honor,
Tootsie.
and that he was led back out.
Okay, so I have a number of questions about this. There are those who say they wouldn't be surprised that the preliminary hearing was pushed back yet again. I mean, even if you talk what's been reported, 40 terabytes of evidence, computers, tablets, iCloud, even in the prosecution's brief, they talk about surveillance footage and cellular data and witnesses and different trips and all these Amazon purchases. And it's a big case, and it's one to investigate some time. At the same time, Julia, I'm trying to understand why this is happening, because correct me if I'm wrong, it's the defense who's asking now to have a delay, because weren't they the ones who said Blair Burke, his attorney, was pushing speedy preliminary hearing as soon as possible? And it was the idea, we're going to challenge the prosecution's evidence. We're going to challenge, because in a preliminary hearing, so everybody knows, right, the prosecution has to present not the whole case, sufficient evidence. That problem.
But how could evidence be things, the terabytes of information and videos or whatever on there? And how could you go to evidence you haven't looked at?
standard, but say we have here court these charges to move forward towards trial. Preliminary hearing, why it's an advantage for the defense is because they can challenge that evidence. So they wanted the prosecution, hey, we want this a preliminary hearing immediately. We want to see what you got. We want to challenge it. We don't think you have a case here. We don't think he's the cause of Celeste's death. And now, and correct me if I'm wrong, are they the ones today in court saying we need a delay?
They are. That is correct. And Jesse, you're absolutely right. This boils down to evidence. So Beth Silverman with the prosecution, she laid out how there is just voluminous evidence here. It totals at this point more than 40 terabytes. I mean, if you think about how much content you probably have saved on your phone, I mean, that's not even close to 1 terabyte. They have 40 in this case. So Beth said this morning during this hearing, the prosecution started uploading their evidence. They have to do that. Sharing that information between both, that's part of this. So Beth says the prosecution that last Thursday, they have.
I hope they got some fast. You know how it's going to take them to upload stuff or 40 terabytes of stuff?
Only uploaded at this point about 10 terabytes out of that 40. And then she went on to say, I actually wrote down this direct from Beth Silverman this morning. It could take them months to complete discovery evidence. So now the defense is very much part of their strategy. This is not surprise. So they said, the defense, we've requested DNA evidence. We have not gotten that yet. So said they haven't a witness narrative they were waiting for. Their argument is you need more to prep before this can even go to a preliminary. But the prosecution, of course, also not surprising, they're pushing back as well. They're saying, is it going to be a real thing? Is June 29th the again? Push it back again. The judge was very stern about that. She said, we have to be clear. If we're setting for this time, if this is going to be pushed back again, a fourth time now,
either y'all.
Writing. Beth Silverman says this kind of thing can go on. She's, in her experience, had this kind of thing go back and forth and be delayed for years. The judge saying this morning, she promises this is not going to go on for years. So I think June 17th is going to be a sure thing for this new status conference, and then June 29th.
Well, here's what's tricky about it. It's prosecutors, seemingly, even though there was reports of multiple grand juries, and grand jury the way you get an official indictment. The Fed doesn't have a role in it. It's a secret proceeding. You get an indictment, you move forward. If you don't go a grand jury route, and clearly jury indictment, though there have reportedly grand juries have evidence in this case, now you have a preliminary hearing, and 100%, this just gets complicated. The defense has an opportunity to challenge the evidence. It can get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and delayed. And just from a point of law, I'll tell everybody, that's a concern for the prosecution, right? They believe that David committed these alleged crimes. They want justice as soon as possible. They don't want to keep pushing this case along. Evidence can get stale. Witness testimony could be upended. So it's in their interest, too, to have this preliminary hearing sooner rather than later. And by the way, when you mention DNA evidence to the prosecution's brief, it says the victim's genetic profile. So that was interesting. By the way, you mentioned witnesses. Do we have any idea, was it revealed today, any idea who these potential witnesses are?
We don't. That is one of those outstanding questions. And I think, Jesse, you actually did an entire podcast segment dedicated to this question. We don't. And it sounds like part of the defense's strategy still here, buy themselves a little bit more time to prepare during this pretrial period, is citing the fact that they don't have any kind of narrative relating to witnesses. They don't know who the possible witnesses might be who could be called for this case. and they don't
Well,
have.
I know some of them is they're going to call Neo, which they already called them, and they're going to call those girls in the bathroom. Witness 1, witness 2, and witness 3. Right? They're going to call those girls in the bathroom. Look how they was talking. I bet you they're going to be
DNA
sorry
evidence
they was doing all
they
that
say they
talking.
requested. But let
They're
me
gonna
tell
be
you
sorry
what the
they was doing all that
prosecution
talking.
did share. They say they have already shared lab reports. They have shared LAPD reports, and they've shared, again, about 10 terabytes of evidence. So if it really is 40 terabytes, that's about 25% here. And I don't know what kind of server they're uploading this to, but again, they started doing this last Thursday. So open-ended question here as to how much longer that's going to take. But talking to media crews out here, we've all been speculating, you know, there's likely a lot of video content in that 40 terabyte dump. That's typically what takes up the most space. So we already know.
You know, he dry snitched on himself in that doggone evidence. You know, we got a lot of
Celeste and David and their alleged relationship that will not be played for the jury if this eventually does go to trial.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because as we're understanding what this is, I remember in one of the initial hearings, the prosecution said they found a large volume of alleged child pornography on David's devices. Now, they didn't confirm that was 100% Celeste, but let's remember he is charged with a sex crime with respect to her. This alleged illegal sexual relationship is not only its own individual crime, but it goes to the murder charge. It goes to the special circumstances, because if they can prove he was having this relationship with her, didn't want it exposed, wanted to keep her quiet, she was threatening him, that goes into it. And of course, I mean, there's other digital data, there's cell phone data, there's surveillance footage. By the way, just taking a quick step back, since you're our eyes and ears there, was it a packed courtroom? Like, who else was there? Was there anybody in support of David? Was Nathan Hochman there, the Los Angeles County District Attorney? Who was in that courtroom today?
It was largely media this morning. We did look around in the hallway before we even got into the status conference to see if perhaps he had any supporters. I know last time, during his last court date, David did have at least 2 friends, 2 supporters with him. There was no family present this morning, nobody for either David or Celeste.
I was like, supporters?
I think it was just the defendant
people in the public
with his uncut hair, his orange jumpsuit, and then defense attorneys. So it was largely media in the back 2 rows in this courtroom, prosecution, defense, and it went by very quickly. They started within 5 minutes of 8:30, the scheduled start time, very clear on directions, you know, no cameras, no cell phones, and it wrapped up within about 10 or 15 minutes.
And by the way, what was his interaction like with his defense attorneys? I saw a report, I think, could be wrong, but you'll correct me if I'm wrong. Did he wink at his defense attorney at one point? What was that interaction like?
This is a fascinating human, Jesse. If I ever have an opportunity to interview David, I've got questions for this man. He seems incredibly comfortable sitting there. I think he was resting his elbows on the table at one point. I mentioned earlier he was listening actively to the back and forth between prosecution and defense. He was looking from attorney to attorney. At one point, I think I saw him nodding along. He made eye contact with the judge. He spoke once when he was asked if June 29th would be a go date.
Preliminary. Asking him is that, hey, what does he got to do? He's in jail. What, he got a dentist appointment that day? What does he got to answer? He's in jail. What is he doing that he can't make the date? Why did they do that? Why did they ask the prisoner, is this date okay? I guess they have to ask that. But what the F is he doing that he can't come? Hello?
For him, he just said, yes, Your Honor. He spoke clearly. He did not seem shaken. He did not seem like a defendant being charged with first-degree murder. And that's not it. I mean, we're calling this a murder case, but there are 2 additional charges on top of that, including continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14. And then it's not just murder, it's mutilation of that murder victim's corpse. And I know we haven't delved into this yet.
You got to be some kind of person to chop up a body of vacation like a chick. A chick got to be some kind of person. Some people don't even want to chop the chicken up, but you got to eat it. You know what I'm saying? This dude was some kind of person that, what?
Because we don't yet know if the DA is going to ultimately pursue the death penalty, but that's an option in this case because of the special circumstances on top of that murder charge. And I believe, Jesse, in the state of California,
they got the she giving right tell us they got the I know it's right there that California has to agree to the day. Yeah, I know. The prisoner still got rights. I'm just joking since then. But I know the prisoner has rights and protocol that they got to follow in procedure. You know what I'm saying? So they have to act.
Only need one special circumstance to be eligible for the death penalty. In this case, it's not one, it's not two, it is three.
And look, there is a moratorium on executions in California, but that's even besides the point. I mean, this goes to this whole idea of if they decide to go that way, it would, prolong the trial and make it a little bit more complex. But you're talking about the ultimate punishment. Not surprising when you talk about this crime. Yes, he's innocent until proven guilty, 100%. But you were talking about the brutal slaying of a 14-year-old girl who was dismembered and also allegedly sexually abused. It's a really, really horrific.
I wish I could talk about that, Lisa, but the app won't let me talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to talk about what they're doing to the V, to the O, to the TER ratifications. They are chopping it up. They're being vicious, ruthless. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get rid of our vote, right? They can't do that in New York. They only could do it in the southern red states. They can't do what they're doing in New York because Letitia and the governor and Mandino, they ain't having nothing over here. You can't do nothing in New York. Everybody talking about, we feel sorry for you. Feel sorry for what? Us? We got the best mayor. What? Y'all believe all that lies that they told about that man, all those lies, so that we wouldn't vote for him. We voted for him anyway. And guess what? We was in a 12 million or $1 billion deficit. I think it might have been 12 billion or 12 million. Well, guess how much our deficit is now? We're at a zero deficit, New York. Zero deficit on the state level. The federal programs, the T is the effing with the SNAP and all of that. On the state level, we got a zero deficit in New York. In that short amount of time, from January, February, March, April, May, 4 months, he brought the deficit down to zero. That means New York owes zero money to nobody. And now they're doing all these programs. Talking about, we feel bad for you. New York. No, we're not in trouble. Y'all are in trouble, not us. We good. We got a level of protection. When that man that starts with T try to mess with our V to the OTR ratifications, they ain't having it here. You ain't moving no maps over here, but they doing it all down south in those southern states. It's crazy.
Julia, you've been following this case, I believe, from the beginning. You've been following it for quite some time. As you're in that courtroom and you're listening carefully to the discussions that's happening between the attorneys and the judge, what is your biggest questions that you want answered right now? What are you looking out for in terms of the evidence? I mean, thank you for talking about the episode we did on the witnesses. I think that's a crucial discussion, whether or not it's going to be somebody like Neoton, or it's going to be David's family, or it's going to be the Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, or it's going to be the medical examiner or members of the medical examiner's department. I mean, you tell
Ray
me
J is on Jason Lee.
We
got to watch the Jason Lee when we come back, right? We got to watch the Jason Lee interview with Ray J. We watched the other one, but Jason Lee, he gets a little into it. Let's
keeping an eye to.
We're going to go to Ashley Janae. We got a couple of updates with Ashley Janae.
Number one question, Jesse, is what you've been covering extensively. who are the witnesses going to be? What is their testimony going to entail? I think another big question is relating to some of the more definitive language we've seen in the charging documents. How do prosecutors know, for example, that David stood by and watched Celeste bleed out? My big question is, was there some kind of home surveillance video that captured this? I mean, that wouldn't be out of the question. Many people have cameras in their homes. David was also an individual who was very comfortable around cameras. I mean, he was constantly live streaming, snapping things, recording things. Could there be footage actually showing that act? And then I also want to point out, the wording of what defense attorneys have said. They're denying the charges. David has entered a not guilty plea on all of these counts, but they're saying he was not the cause of her death. That raises the question: who was? Could there be somebody else involved? Could get into the courtroom this morning? I was talking to a couple other journalists.
And that's a good question for you all. And all my people on the wire, after you watch this, put it in the comments. Do you feel like David did this with somebody else? Do you feel like somebody else is involved in this case? Because remember, earlier, I don't know, some people might have came late. We watched the video earlier they played of a stream with the little girls in the bathroom, and I think Neon was there and David, and they were talking about Celeste, and they was like, yeah, you and me. The person allegedly said you and me killed her. You and me. They said you and me. Outright on the live.
Covering this case. That's what we're all wondering at this point.
Wow.
Who else may have helped? Who else could have been involved? And what additional cases, what additional charges and defendants could we see coming out of this? I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think this defendant is going to be one of several as Celeste and her family and her community fight for justice.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because it raises a number of different questions. I've talked about it multiple times about, is it possible a 20-year-old singer, if the allegations are true, killed this 14-year-old, took steps to dismember her body, and ultimately did it, took that trip to Santa Barbara to hide evidence? Sure. But is it also possible he had some help? I asked Nathan Hockman about this on my News Nation show, and he would obviously confirm one way or another whether they're looking into any other people, there are going to be any other arrests. But it also goes to the idea of other charges. If there's child pornography allegedly on his devices, or you're talking about a minor who was allegedly brought across state lines and there's sexual activity, is there sex trafficking? I did an episode on that too. But you also talk about the cause of death. And I think that one of the complicating factors here is her body was in that Tesla for quite some time, decomposed, dismembered. How exactly? I mean, will the defense bring their own forensic pathologist to try to push back and say, how do you know definitively it was multiple sharp force injuries? Is there something else that might have contributed to this? Do you have evidence of maybe the cleanup and the dismemberment, but not necessarily the murder? And going back to that other point about, how they know she bled out, and I'm split on this. I interviewed Joseph Scott Morgan, and he basically said he believes there could be a witness to this. He also talked about the surveillance footage. It's also possible they're just making an assumption based on, they look at the cell phone data and they say, well, this is when she arrived, right, by the ride share. This is when her phone activity stopped. This is when David allegedly sent a text message to her 20 minutes later to maybe cover up his tracks, maybe create an alibi. And that's why they believe that he stabbed her or allegedly stabbed her and just watched her bleed out, because there's no calls to 911 or emergency services. So they might be making a guess here. I have to ask you one more part about this. You're in LA. I'm not in LA. You're in LA. There has been so much discussion about
we are New York strong. That's right.
Between the ME's office, the LAPD, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. As somebody who covers these stories and somebody who's in LA, whether it's this case or other cases, is there disagreement amongst these different organizations? Are they usually in lockstep? Because there's been so many questions about why there's been a delay and why there's information that's been sealed. No mention of pregnancy in the prosecution's brief. And yet the medical examiner now had to change the update to it's not known if she was pregnant. I think they did that for other reasons. But I'm just curious, in your experience, what should we be thinking about? And to be clear, when I interviewed Nathan Hochman, he said they're completely lockstep. There's no surprises. They're in it together. They know what they're doing. I'm just curious your perspective.
There is so much to unpack here.
Thank you.
There are so many questions, Jesse.
Aileen, are you feeling a little better today? I hope so.
About the coordination and the timing.
Thank you,
and I
Kim.
think the biggest thing that happened in this case that we don't typically see with charges of this magnitude, I mean, the LAPD made the arrest on, what was it, April 16th? And it wasn't until April 20th that charges were filed. So that alone raises questions about the coordination. Why were charges not filed first? Did LAPD do that because they were trying to force the DA's hand? And if so, what was the holdup? What was taking them so long to investigate when it seems to all of us like they already had overwhelming evidence? They had probable cause here. So a lot of questions. You know, I don't want to give rise to any additional conspiracy theories.
Right.
I think everybody on the internet is buzzing about all of this already, but just the facts of the case here. Arrest on April 16th, charges not filed until days later, and then now information being changed. I think that part about Celeste not being pregnant and then that not being able to be definitively determined, that may have something to do with this state of decomposition. But that is one of the questions that I think you've debunked on this podcast. There does not appear to be any definitive evidence pointing to the fact that Celeste was pregnant. If that does emerge at some point, that for sure is going to add additional charges onto what is already a stunning and an incredibly disturbing case.
Incredibly disturbing.
Yeah, and just the final point before we wrap up, I'll say if prosecutors knew that she was pregnant, they would have 100% have included that. I mean, what better way to establish an alleged relationship to show he needed to allegedly keep her quiet, take the allegations are true. I mean, proof of pregnancy, they would definitely put that in there. Now, I will say, it seems to me, yes, because of the decomposition. Perhaps they can't definitively say that. And I think also they have to put unknown, considering the prosecutors say there were text messages about pregnancy and Plan B and things like that. So I think the investigative portion of that is what led to it. Julia, thank you so much for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it. I would love for you to come back when we have the next hearing now. In June, see what happens. But Julie,
they told us basically the same thing that Nancy Grace told us. All right. So now we're going to get into a little bit of Ashley update. We haven't talked about this in a little while, so let's get into it. So they said, word on the curb, Mr. Joe McCann went free, but word on the curb is that Joe McCann paid them to get free. Now, all the people that go to Africa that I know, and they're saying it online too, they said, a lot of places in Africa, you got to pay every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? You want them to take your bags into the house from the hotel, pay, tip. Everybody looking for it. Everybody got their hand like this, right? You want those tapes? You want the information? You want us not to talk about the case? Every step of the way. All right, so let's go into these little Ashley updates. Let's go into the Ashley updates. Hold up. Let's see if we can pull this up. All right. Okay, hold on. All right, we got to find it. Okay, bear with me, y'all. We gotta find. I had the Ashley thing set up, but we gotta find. Okay. All right. So let's see. So let's go to this Ashley update. Up, it came right up. It came right up. So she's already, I don't know if they exactly buried her because I know they was holding the body, right? They was holding the body. Let's see. So they saying that now that they're involving the ex-wife. All right. Hold on. So let's see. So let's see. Okay, hold on, y'all.
What I told you that, as you see online, some of them
All
costing
right, they got a
thousands
few
of dollars
commercials,
to produce
You know how it
can
goes.
now be created
You know
in
how
just
it goes.
minutes for a fraction of cost. So no.
All right, welcome back, Kings and Queens, y'all. Today we are talking Ashley Janae, Ashley Robinson, who passed away, unfortunately, in a very, very unfortunate turn of events on vacation with her fiance for her birthday. Listen, I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to say it like this. I guess the check has cleared and Joe McCann has been cleared to return to the United States. The authorities in Zanzibar, Tanzania have released him.
Music video.
He's been very
dig up the bones and let the forest. Yeah, I think that they didn't. They said, I heard that they didn't actually. They had the funeral and the memorial, but they didn't actually put her in the dirt. They're holding the body because now they're doing their own independent autopsy because Tanzania ain't giving them nothing because that man is over there allegedly orchestrating stuff. What music video, Sim? So let's listen.
And I don't think Ashley's parents will ever receive the closure that they're needing because we've come to find out a lot about this case over the past several weeks. Number one, we do know, we can probably assume that Joe has the engagement ring that was not with her when her body arrived to the United States. Now, I gave you a brief rundown of why a body would not make it to the morgue. And I briefly explained to those of you that when a patient comes into a hospital and you have your professional healthcare frontline workers, they are rushing in a catastrophic event.
We're going to go a little more, then we're going to cut it.
To
Thank you, Charlene.
Life-saving techniques.
We go a little over. I just don't want to do 4 hours.
Personal artifacts do not make it to the morgue. Those are typically handed over to the person next of kin, friends, or family members that arrive to the hospital with the deceased. In this case, we're talking Ashley Janae. We know Joe McCann was at the hospital with her, so he has the ring. He has her personal belongings. But another thing that we know,
God took his ring back.
That we didn't know then, I didn't know. Let me say I didn't.
Took his ring
I wasn't aware that Ashley and Joe actually lived together. So any type of personal artifacts, anything that you're hoping to receive back, Ashley's parents, I don't think you're going to get them. I believe the check has cleared and Joe has been released to turn home. He's here in the United States. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
For those of you
who are about
just
Ashley,
I have a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. And before we think of it, I'm going to cite TMZ as my source as it relates to the background information when they released Joe McCann. Okay, I believe it was on or before May 8th.
I hope they did.
That's exactly 4 weeks to the date of Ashley's death. Okay. So when you think about how long would it actually be? How long would it take for a large sum of money to be wired to Zanzibar from the United States?
How long?
Typically, if we're talking just a regular large international wire from you. So if Ashley went into a medical crisis on the eve of April 8th and passed away April 9th, we're going to say 2 to 7 business days is common.
Oh.
But depending on the amount, if it's a really large sum of money, it has to go through compliance reviews. Then you have to think, is it coming through a U.S. bank? Who's receiving the money? Is it a Tanzanian bank? Is it a Zanzibar bank? We have to think about the currency conversion. And then you have to think about for high value transfers to make sure there's no money laundering involved. Banks are going to pause the transactions or hold the transactions.
Money laundering.
They have to verify the source of the funds. They have to.
I hope they investigate it and have lawyers. I hope they got a lawyer. All right. I hope the lawyer got the FBI involved because they can them over the time now. So there's not FBI's jurisdiction to begin with, but over time, if a case builds, they can step in. They definitely should get the laws involved, right? They got international, they could work with embassy over there. The embassy over there, they said gives them the bare minimum. The bare minimum over there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing nothing. But she needs a private investigator. He should have been had the laws working and getting off when Joe was over there. And I would have it though. So soon as that dude step off the plane, I would have the FBI waiting for him at the gate, taking him in for questioning. Waiting at the gate, make him talk. Now you ain't in Tanzania, and now you can't pick nobody off. Right? And make him sit down, and we want to know what happened every second when you was with that girl from start to the end. I want to know where you were every second. Okay? They don't have to cooperate where they're going to run into the problem. Right. They don't have to cooperate. Right. Tanzania don't have to cooperate because that's a different place. Right. That's why a lot of people saying that the mother and the father or, should have went over there, but you never know what people's going through. I mean, they did get the money. Thank you, Aileen. They did get the money, the right? But then a private investigation is going to cost, and plus, you can't just jump up and go to Africa. You got to get a passport. They might not have a passport. Who knows if they travel? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. You got to get shots. You out there with all those mosquitoes, with mosquitoes, with malaria, right? And, or things that our body ain't used to. You got to get shots. You got to plan the trips. You got to get flights. And once again, Tanzania do not like the thing that's Russell Lee. They don't like him. They made a comment about him a few times. They do not like him. You know what I'm saying? Definitely ain't quitting all the way. And then it's like they easy to get paid off. That makes the investigation hard. Now you paying off people to collaborate stories. Now, if it happened here, it would be different. You could get to people more. You can, get to stuff. But being that it happened over there, okay, like y'all said, they don't have to cooperate. They don't have to cooperate. What? We ain't telling you nothing, and you don't own us. What? Didn't you say this about us? You got us on the block list to come in your country? Come on. Right? Let's listen.
Review the screening. They have to document everything properly. And that's why I say, I believe the check has now cleared.
The check has cleared.
Believe, so, or maybe large sums, large shares of crypto have been cashed out. You get what I'm saying? I would need a power of attorney to handle handle that for me if I'm being locked up and being held by, quote unquote, a middleman to process
he definitely
these
got
transactions on my behalf. What am I saying? I believe Joe
I wonder about
was
Bitcoin
held for the amount of time that he was held, not because there was an ongoing investigation, but because the chat.
Well, he was definitely into Bitcoin. He was definitely into Bitcoin, and the hotel owner was too, amongst other things. Thank you so much, Lila. So he was definitely into Bitcoin, but he probably paid them money.
Weird. When this initially occurred, Joe did not have an attorney. So you have to ask yourselves, when did the quote unquote attorney come into play?
Thank you, Zoe.
Why is the attorney talking to TMZ?
Thank you for the cat.
And I would probably assume if your attorney is talking to TMZ, then I know damn well your attorney is negotiating conversations with
a lot of people pay for stuff with Bitcoins. You know, think about it. Bitcoins is worth a lot now. I mean, it might have went down a little bit because the T's in the office, everything was going up and down. You know what I'm saying? But people pay, you know, they got certain people accept Bitcoins. I know about it, but I'm not that much into it, you know?
Police officials in Zanzibar. See, when you're locked up, you can't just move about the cabin freely and do business as usual. You get what I'm saying? Hold on. Sorry about that. You can't just do business as usual. You're going to have to get a person to run that for you. And if you're being suspected of hurting and or harming your fiance, you can't really, it's not wise, if this is true, to allow anybody to do this, but somebody with privilege. Client, attorney privilege, attorney-client privilege. I believe the check is cleared, period. I believe there was a large sum of money. It took a minute, and that's the reason why
I don't think he's going to come back to the U.S. right away because he know everybody waiting for him at the door like this. Thank you, Aileen. Thank you. Everybody waiting for him at the door. He ain't going to come back to the U.S. I think he going to move around a little bit till he think he died down. And then he might come get his stuff and then move permanently. Because remember, this dude passed. If you know, was in here, we went through his whole background, right? He's used to moving around, right? So Tatiana, I'm going to put it like this. Nobody knows exactly what Joe's doing. Everything is speculation. Some people say that he is not in the U.S. Some people say he's back. Some people saying he's free, but he's still out there. We don't really know that until we get a perfect confirmation, right? And then you love this girl so much. You put this big, beautiful message up there. And you would think the first thing that this dude did was come back and see her family. You would think that. But he's staying as far away from that family. He actually got TMZ to say some stuff about that family. He ain't going to talk to that family because you know what they're going to ask him. What happened? Allegedly, they released him. For me, I'm going to say allegedly because everything is speculation. These people are just speculation. You know how hearsay is and he say, she say. Something could happen in this room, and by the time it makes it outside, it's a whole different story. He definitely acted guilty. His actions is showing guilty. You're right about that, Pam. Let's listen.
Receive his passport until on or about May 8th. Now, according to TMZ.
Now, the government can tell if he uses passport. Our government can tell if you got on a flight, if you're using your passport, right? If they got the private investigator and the laws over here, they can get her cell phone records, her text messages. See, this is what's going to jam them up and why I said they need to get a private investigator and they need to get the laws involved. Because the law and even the private investigator, I think, can hook the get Ashley's phone service carrier and get all her text messages, all her voicemails. They could get her computer company and get all her cloud, all her emails. They could get access to that. Because technically, right, when he gave that ring to Ashley, right, that became her property. When you give somebody a gift and you say, here's a shirt, that now becomes your shirt, right? And whatever is her property, the mother has rights to that, because the mother is technically the next of kin. The next of kin. He's not the next of kin because he was getting ready to marry her, but he didn't. Now, if he would have married her, thank you, SCM. Thank you for the roses. Thank you, LA. If he would have married her, then he would have been the next kid's kin. But because he didn't marry her, the parents are the next of kin. And the parents have the rights, the legal rights to her belongings, not him. He is just the boyfriend. Thank you, SC. He is the fiance. The fiance, okay, it's one level up from the boyfriend. But you ain't on papers yet. You ain't on papers when you're a fiance. I'm glad they didn't get married. No telling, right? Oh, we glad he didn't get married. Right? So technically, they supposed to turn all that stuff over to the mother. Technically. But you know, he over there fiddling and finagling and manipulating, and God knows what he's doing over there. But they keep saying that 1 minute they saying the ring was with her. Well, only the parents know, because they got her body, right? Was the ring with her or not? Either it's there or it's not there. If it's not there, you know he got that ring. Right? He ain't gonna give. Another reason why he ain't gonna get that ring back is because they could take that ring and they could test it. They could test it. I mean, of course, his DNA is gonna be on the ring because he gave it to him. Thank you, y'all, for it to be 10K away from 200K. Let's go. Let's listen.
Joe McCann's lawyer, Edward Andrew Palzitsky, tells TMZ authorities in Tanzania that the authorities in Tanzania returned Joe's American passport to him May 8th, after he remained in Tanzania for nearly a month for cooperating with the authorities. Oh, he was cooperating, all right. He had to find an attorney that he could trust. I believe the check cleared. I believe he had to cash out some crypto shares to pay the asking price. Because here's the thing, if he was guilty, if he was innocent from start to finish, and if it's beyond a reasonable doubt that he was not in the room with Ashley when her death occurred, there is no reason legally for them to hold him 4 weeks. Are y'all reading in between the lines?
4 weeks.
We are not that stupid.
That's a long time.
Joe's attorney clarifies this was not a newly issued passport from the State Department. And well, that makes sense. He explains that it was Joe's actual passport that he voluntarily handed over to the authorities the day after Ashley's death.
Twitchy.
They're saying that the Tanzanian authorities chose to give it back to Joe. I'm sure they did.
Of course they did.
We're talking about corruption. Now, my question is,
so they said that all her belongings is over there. I don't know how they got the body back. Did somebody put it on a plane? Because the parents, I didn't hear if they went over there. Right? Where's her suitcase? Where's her belongings? Where's her phone? So if you didn't do it, where's her stuff at, sir? Okay, you're not going to give up the footage because the footage is cut and dry. They're going to tell who went in the room, who went out the room. He ain't giving up that footage. But why you ain't giving up her clothes? Because you know they're going to find something in there. You're going to give her clothes back and you're going to leave something in there because y'all are all dumb criminals. You're always leaving a clue. All right? You're always leaving a clue. Hey, slave braids. All right? Everybody join the super fans so you can get your little icons and your little stickies like slave braids got. All right? He ain't giving those clothes back. They didn't get her clothes. They didn't get her cell phone. She got a whole suitcase over there. When you go, she probably got a big suitcase. Colombo, she probably got a big suitcase over there. You traveling international. Even when I go I went a few days to Atlantic City. They was like, dang, what you moving out here, knockout? I need variety. And a girl like Ashley looked like she needed variety too. Lay her clothes out, shoes. Overly bring stuff. She was into glam and all of that. Why is he holding her clothes? Is he, like y'all said, his action is showing guilt. Somebody could say they innocent all they want. I'm innocent. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But your actions, but watch their actions. Always watch people's actions, period. Always watch people's actions, even when you're in a relationship. Oh, I love you. I love you. And then a girl walk by with a big butt. He's like, I love you, though. I love you. Watch those actions. Watch them. Let's listen.
How much, if you had to hypothetically think, what would be the asking amount? Would it be $1 million, $500,000, $250,000, 50,000, 70,000?
More people are coming in, Charlene. I don't want to end it.
What did it take to wrap this up? Joe's attorney went on to say that
I hope she comes back. I know, right?
They allowed Joe, listen to this. They allowed Joe to return to the U.S. and Joe arrived at an undisclosed location.
Oh, listen, she's
what
saying.
You mean undisclosed? Who is Joe where he gets elite privilege as if he's a dignitary or a politician where everything about him is kept quiet?
Well, according to TMZ, he's getting unalivement threats. So that's probably why he's in the so according to her, because see, she's in contact with the locals out there. So the locals are calling her, giving her information and whatever. But in my mind, you don't really know who these locals are. And that could be a regular Joe Schmo in a computer library feeding you information and shit that's not true. Because some people do that. You know, you'd be surprised what people do for not even no money or no clout, just to do it. Like, yeah, let me call these people. I could, tell you anything. Right? So you got to take everybody's thing with a grain of salt. But the locals are telling her that he came back and is in an undisclosed situation. Right? And the reason why he's in an undisclosed situation is according to TMZ, right, which they accused allegedly TMZ for working with him for some reason and siding with him, that he's getting unalivement threats. Because remember, Ashley was a big broadcaster. She got a big following. She got everybody watching, on everybody that gets a platform on social media, that gets a big fan base, knows mixed in those fan base are some psychos and some weirdos that will go and they will do anything for you. Okay, why aren't the authorities waiting for him when he gets? That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Kim. That's working with the law, working with a private investigator. Why? That's the question of the doggone day, Kim. You hit it on the nose. If I was her mother, I would have had them waiting at the door some kind of way. I would have been orchestrating that. You got to come, because they definitely, you get on a plane and go anywhere, the Popo can find out the records. They got all the records of the plane. That's why you got to show ID. Why do you think you got to show ID? Because they want to know who the F you are. You got to show your ID, your passport, your boss. They know who you are when you get on a plane. They know when he came in and when he got on. They should have been waiting for. They could bring him in for questioning. They got probable cause. We think something happened other than a suicide. They know from the passport and the boarding list. Of course. Of course. Let's listen.
And he gets to arrive at an undisclosed location. Y'all, does that not come with a price tag? Does that not sound fishy to you? Does that not say the check has cleared? Now, listen to this. Despite online rumors, Joe was never arrested or locked up. And Edward tells us Joe stayed cooperative with investigators the whole time. That doesn't mean he didn't do it. So he was never arrested or locked up. Listen to this.
I don't think that he was brought in a room and questioned for a month. Because he was in that question for about a month. They were saying that. I think that they was protecting him. They kept telling us that he was being questioned to keep us at bay. He was probably over there in some resort just posted up. Effing girls. If I was a girl, see the 304s don't care about all of that. You know what I'm saying? They're fearless. But if I was a girl, I would be scared to go with that man. Because all in my mind, I would be like, did he do that? And now you going with him and stuff like that. It's a chance that you might be on the doggone 5 o'clock news. But then when you hurrying around and 304 and around, you don't care about all that. I need answers to my questions, right? Yep.
Living nice. A nice, white, privileged, rich man's life.
Right.
They put him somewhere.
They put him somewhere.
Under the guise of an investigation. They lied. He was never being held. They told us that.
Right.
But the attorney said he was never arrested or locked up. He was over there eating bonbons, prime rib, lamb, goat, steak.
Right.
Until the check cleared. Thank you. Authorities haven't said publicly if Joe has been officially cleared by authorities in the investigation, but clearly Joe's not under intense suspicion if they are letting him leave. TMZ, I see you. I see what you're doing. And hey, listen, I get it. You don't believe he's innocent. So you're helping to clean this up as much as you can without overcommitting. Let me read it again. See, TMZ typically comes in pretty strong when they got something to say. And when they believe you're innocent, you're innocent. When they believe you're guilty, you're guilty. But they said authorities haven't publicly stated if Joe has been officially cleared. However, he's not under intense suspicion.
200K,
letting him leave. They damn
200K.
sure didn't say
Thank
he
you
was
for the
innocent.
200K, y'all. Thank you.
What are your thoughts?
Thank you so much for the 200K.
Because the local authorities over there, they wrapped it up. They closed Ashley's death out as a suicide. They haven't publicly changed that position, and I don't think they ever will. I think the only thing that could or maybe happen, maybe a few years from now, is if Joe McCann pisses someone off, similar to what happened in Diddy. Somebody's going to release the video surveillance, or somebody's going to attempt to blackmail him. That's it. That's all.
They gonna hold it over there, like she said. If he piss somebody off, or they want some more money, or they want something, he don't give it to them, they gonna start putting stuff out. Let's listen.
Now, let's be very clear. Joe McCann, in my opinion, is every bit of diabolical that you can be as a human being. I wouldn't give a damn if you did it or if you don't, or if you didn't do it. The fact that your fiance was murdered, I'm sorry, she lost her life, and you were the last person to interact with her.
Right. We need some answers to the questions.
Clean your hair. Turmeric stem cells.
Okay, everybody, come on in. Typify, Sharify. We're talking about Ashley Janae updates right now.
Why don't you
all right, everybody, Sharify, Tapify. Hey, Tap, thank you. Come on, thank you for coming. You creep, right? He is giving creep vibes. Yep, girls in the broom. Girls in the broom.
Entrepreneurs have one thing in common. They take the
all right, Joe, let the commercials go by. Thank you so much for the 200K, y'all. I'm trying to get on here earlier. I was setting up, I was rearranging my stuff for the new computer. I had to buy an extension to my desk, and then I had to put it together. Then I had a booking yesterday. It was a lot. So I didn't get on here, but eventually I will make it on here earlier. I will. All right. Everybody come on in.
Hey guys, I'm Nathan Reed. Just wanted to say,
and so we are talking about Ashley Janae
over the last 4
and
years.
trying for everybody that's just been in. So watch the Y to the Tubesy, Face to the Booksies, Twitchy, Kixies, Xies, even LinkedIn. You can watch this back when it ends. Okay, same name. Same name.
You gotta be in the game.
Same game. All right, you're doing good. Thank you, Kim.
And you come out on the day of her funeral to overshadow her moment with your public eulogy. When you went ghost,
that's true.
You went.
That's true. People didn't think about that.
You didn't send her personal belongings back.
People didn't think about that. He did that on the day of her funeral, like he wanted to overshadow her. Now everybody's talking about, he spoke, and they running over there. If he disabled those comments, though, I bet you that. I bet you didn't have those comments running.
You had
I'll wait for you.
absolutely
We
nothing
wait
to
for
say.
you.
And when
Thank
it
you
was
so
time
much.
to talk,
Thank you, Kim.
you went to TMZ. Make it make sense. You are every bit of what I believe you are. I believe you have very, very rigid narcissistic traits. I believe you are capable and may have been capable of taking Ashley's life. And I do believe that you put your hands on Ashley. I do believe you put your hands on Ashley.
I'm going
and
to
that's
say
the
allegedly.
reason. Initially, you guys were temporarily separated. Her friend insinuated that there was a physical altercation.
Did he bring her stuff back? That I don't know.
You did not give her parents the due diligence and the justice that they needed to close this thing up. You told them that Ashley had done something to herself.
They're saying that they are holding it. Either the hotel or him are holding her stuff. They know they're gonna find some clues in there.
But she was stable. That was a lie. And then you went ghost. And now you're coming back to spin the block. They're
gonna go to her apartment too.
And allow those folks to grieve in peace.
I hope he
now
don't get a key to her apartment.
The moms.
This is another thing. Now,
memory of what happened.
Don't forget, she had an apartment out there in Miami, right? With all her stuff in there. There's clues there too. You know what I'm saying? She probably got a computer there. Got all her emails. The parents are entitled to that stuff, not Joe McCann. Joe McCann has no more entitlement there, and the parents better make sure of it. She better go out there and change them locks and say he's not allowed, he's not related to her. He was just a boyfriend. We're the next of kin. And I would change those locks out there. That's another thing they need to do. They need to change the locks at her apartment and makes no sure nobody gets in there and takes anything. Both of them, they are working with each other. He might.
And she said you didn't give her any information. And you're saying that's a lie. I reached out to her and she left me on read. Sir, that's what he's saying, y'all.
Thank you for 204.
He came back to say that the mom is not being truthful, that he did not ghost her. He did attempt to contact them. And he's claiming
that's so they saying two different things. Mother. So the mother's saying that he ghosted her. He doesn't talk to her. He contacted them 12 hours, 11 hours later. He's saying that's not true. He did. So what did you say to them though? So if you talk to them, so what did you say? You know when you ain't talking to them like that. You told them the bare minimum. Something happened to her. That's it. Then you was ghosted again. This dude, man, if it was anybody who comes around this dude, this creepy dude, the business with the girl, if a girl get with this dude, but you just don't care about your life at this point. You don't care, girl. You know what I'm saying? I hope they did hire an investigator, Kim. I hope they did. They probably did. Let's listen.
And he was left on red. Even if you were, she lost her daughter. She lost her daughter. And here's the thing, y'all. She'll never get another Ashley Janae. But we know you're going to move on. We know you're going to find you another woman. We know there's a high probability that within the next 2 to 3 years, I'm going to say 2.
He probably already got one.
3. Don't be surprised.
He already got
Joe
a few
McCann
women.
Finds himself in another whirlwind romance with another young woman, if he isn't already involved with somebody behind the scenes.
That's what I said.
Now, what he reported to TMZ is that he tried reaching out to Ashley, to her family after her death, but the communication.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I got to check something real quick. Bear with me. Hold up, y'all. Hold on. Okay, let's listen.
Basically hit a wall. So why are you texting? You called them to say she's okay. The
Did
hotel
they not
called
say
them
that
to
he
say,
had
no,
other?
she's
Yeah,
not okay.
that's
She's
what they
dead.
said. He
So,
probably already got.
You
other
allowed
women.
the hotel to do your dirty work, right? the one that you're in
seen
partnership
other
with.
women. You
Let
know
me
how
just
these
say
guys with
allegedly.
money do.
You allow them to do the dirty work.
You know how they do.
And then you follow that with a text. Y'all, if that's not diabolical, I don't know what is. According to his attorney, he said that Ashley's mom texted Joe asking what happened on April 9th, shortly after she died in Tanzania. Of course, she's going to ask you, because the last time she spoke to you, you said her daughter was well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's funny to me that your attorney listed what her mom said, but then it says, and despite being completely crushed by her death, Joe responded promptly and appropriately. What did Joe say? But according to Joe's
he don't want to answer those
side,
questions.
Yolanda never replied
That's
back,
why you're going
and
to
he
stay
says
away
he hasn't
from
heard from the
everybody.
family since. What did you say?
He's going to stay away from them, because if he come around them, he knows that all they're going to be doing is answer questions. And once you start answering questions, you know what happens. That's why they bring you in the interrogation room. Once they start asking questions, he's going to get tripped up. Oh, what happened at this time? Oh, this happened. What happened there? Oh, this happened. Oh, I thought you said this. Oh, I thought you said. Then he's going to trip himself up. That's why he's staying away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, people, even his friends, his family. I don't know his mother and father is alive. I don't know. I didn't hear him talk about that too much. They probably going to ask him questions. They're going to ask questions. Everybody got questions for him. Everybody got questions.
He's claiming that he understands they're grieving and may not be ready to accept what authorities believe what happened. Do you see how careful they are with the words, how careful his attorney is wording this? This is what the authorities currently believe happened. No, motherfucker, you tell us what happened. Pardon my language.
She's wrong.
You tell us what happened. We don't want to know what you paid them to say.
She got allegedly. A little wrong with it.
We don't want to know that they believe
somebody got to know where
suicide.
He is. Right, I won't be surprised if he took
himself. He chose not to follow up and reach out to the family because he wanted to respect their family's silence and give them space to grieve. And you should have shut the fuck all the way up.
I think that he gonna probably gather his stuff up, right, and go to another country where they really can't get to him, like Russell Simmons did. But now they found Russell Simmons. They finally served Russell Simmons, the same woman who sued L.A. Reid, allegedly found Russell Simmons in Bali with the crickets. They found him. They look holler. Hey, situation. Hey, situation. What's up with you? I just seen you come in. How are you? Did you hear what I was watching? What was going on there? I talked about it before I got on the live. You know, because I'm on both places and the why. But I was watching what was going on. You know, I don't like to talk about other broadcasters in here. I like to stick to my content because, as you can see, once you start talking about them, they start getting at you and exposing your social security numbers and where you live and all that, trying to take away the kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about the kids, them take away my kids, because they're going to have to go in my ovaries to take away my kid. All right? You're going to have to chop me open and go in my ovaries and say, there's our kids. Right? But, you know, did I say that person who called the SWATification team on that person, that is this app's karma, because they condone that behavior on this app. That's all they watch. That's all they give. They don't let nobody breathe, nobody live, and nobody could prosper on this app but the messy people. And people are watching that like no other. And now the aftermath, everybody's making coins off of it. So y'all are keeping it going. So they could all day they complaining about that person who called the SWAT team on somebody, but they all talking about him making beans off it. If he went live right now, they'll be dropping the bank on him just to see what he's talking about. They don't support real content on this app. You got to fight for it. You know, that's why I said I'm going to come back here every day. Every day I open my screen, guess what? The B app pushes me right to the top of the popular page. You know what I'm saying? They wanted me to come back. That's why I came back. I used to be in a live house all the time. They used to come and get me when somebody didn't show up and perform. Do they still have the live houses here? situation. They still have the live houses, like the performance. Can I sign up to that? I want to sign up to that. They still have the live houses situation. I don't know if she's still here or not. Let's see if the situation still here. Well, she'll be back. She know I was talking. I don't ignore nobody. Persistence, exactly. Persistence, come back every day. Yeah, she might have left. Are you still here, situation? I was just running my mouth. Okay, let's listen.
You should have never came out with a public statement. You should have kept that same energy. And his attorney is saying, but he would have absolutely responded if Ashley's mom had reached out again. He's coming out in defense mode.
They probably reached out a million times.
Always had my contact information, and they could have reached out whenever they wanted to. Idiot. Why should they? You were the last one with her. She died under your leadership. She died while being in your presence. She died She died while she was with you, not with them. It's your due diligence. It's your responsibility. This is a woman you asked to marry. This is a woman that you're responsible to provide, protect for. Why do they need to chase you down?
Well, protectors like him, you don't need enemies.
I think he's pissed off. Let me tell you. I think he's mad because he felt like whatever he put in front of them, they were supposed to pick up whatever he was putting down. And I think he's raging at the facts that he didn't get the visibility he thought he was going to receive because that family denied his ass access to come to that funeral. That's what he's upset about. He doesn't care that Ashley is gone. We know that. Because
that would have been that's an awkward thing for him to come. Why would he? I don't want to be him, but I would figure that he wouldn't want to come to the funeral. Why would you want to be sitting there looking like Tupac in that movie? Remember Tupac in the movie went to the funeral after he unalived his friend, and the friends is looking at him like they seen a ghost. That's what he would have been like. It's crazy.
Tabloids. You're mad because they cut off your lifeline. They refuse to supply you with the attention that you seek. You told those people that she was okay when you knew she was dead in that room, allegedly. You're some kind of wonderful. And then you have the audacity. I told you this man was going to have the final say. And then you have the audacity to run your behind to TMZ talking about that you receive racist insults, racist taunts, death threats after Ashley passed. We don't give a damn about you. You're a whole man.
She cold.
You'll be okay.
Sheba is cold.
Sources close to Joe told TMZ that ever since Ashley died while on a trip with him, that he's received an overwhelming number of death threats and messages of hate. How you know that?
Right.
I'll tell you how you know. How we know now.
Because you was in
they
for
lied
questioning.
to us about you being locked up. They pretended you were locked up. They pretended that you were in custody. The whole time you had access to everything.
Exactly.
Your phone, food, housing, shelter, alcohol, massages,
girls,
wellness spas, allegedly.
Women,
Ashley's phone.
304s.
So ain't no telling what you've hacked and been able to get into her phone and scrub out, erasing any communication, any concerns about her being in danger with you.
Right.
Yeah, he said it's hard on him because he can't believe that we would think that he had anything to do with her death. Why not? Who are you? That we're supposed to take your word over her parents' word. Who are you? Now, his attorney is claiming that he truly loved Ashley and he would never hurt her or any other woman. Why are you even talking about another woman in the same sentence as Ashley? Y'all, I'm done. That's it. That's all. Baby, if you can't see the writing on the wall, I couldn't lay it out more clearly. The check is cleared and Joe is home.
Okay, so that's it. That's it for her. So look, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to try to come on the earliest I can tomorrow morning. All right. I should have my computer tomorrow. I'm excited. By tonight, I'm excited. I'm going to set everything up. And hopefully I could get in TikTok studio and I could really make this look like a show. And I could bring this in here so that y'all could really see my clips. That's what I want to do. All right. If I get it tonight, I might come back on tonight to test it out. So y'all follow me on the B to the IGO app, same name. You can watch everything back on Y to the Tube Z if you came late. Same name, Miss Knockout TV. Okay, watch it all back. All right. And I will speak to you tomorrow. Don't quote me. But I might come back to test out the TikTok studio. TikTok live studio. I might come back to test it on out. All right. So don't quote me. Right. But I might come and test it, or, the computer out and see if TikTok studio is working, because the computer is going to be more powerful and I can make this look like a show. Thank you for the 212K. Thank you. And thank you over here on the B side. I'll be back tonight or tomorrow. All right. And everybody enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Test. Yeah. So we're going to come back and test it out. Be the Beauty is back. And if I could get in TikTok studio now, I could really bring the Tickfinity in and have it look like a good show. You know what I'm saying? Attract more people. All right. Did y'all watch the well, let's end Y to the Tubesy first. All right, let's end Y to the Tubesy. All right, everybody. I will see y'all here early tomorrow morning. Watch it back. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you follow me. All right. And I will see you when later.
It's the Miss Knockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Miss Knockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show, hot topics, beats and the glow. You rock it with Miss Knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.